Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, and today we are back with episode 2 of The Long March. We've got a full cast and crew back today to take us once again on a merry old jaunt. Well, more of a march, really. Very long one. Very, very long, tiresome, slow march into the depths of this game. And, let's start with Josh. How you doing, Josh? Our Dungeon Master for tonight.
I'm good. So, guys, we have wonderful, sexy new topography that has been provided by Louise, which is on the Roll20. I'm sure we'll share that with you guys. It's all sort of coming together quite nicely. She kind of ended last week's episode, and everyone said goodbye, and I was like, no.
I haven't left this seat in a week.
Someone let me go.
Just crying.
Louise, blink twice if you're in danger.
So while we figure out where Louise is in the world, where I've hidden her away, let me introduce you. This is the Hungary campaign, D&D5E, and it is the story of less than ideal heroes. These guys have been roped into a war that has spanned the last 10, maybe even longer years. No one really knew about it, and then suddenly there was just the rolling of hatred coming from the east. So the primary enemy in this campaign are the Fiend Touch. They are an organization or a group of fanatics, tieflings who have spent the last tens of hundreds of years being enslaved, having absolutely no rights, no respect, and they just wanted to be loved and free. So they have banded behind a leader known as Hex. And Hex has united them into an army that has spent 7 years absolutely trouncing their way through all of the kingdoms, murdering everything in their path. And finally, the armies of the Great Alliance have mustered, and in one big push, have managed to get them back into their own territory, back into the Orc wastes from whence they came. And our party is now marching down upon the fortress of Hex. The final battle is coming. This is really going to be the be-all and end-all of the war. This will determine whether, we play a campaign in darkness or a campaign in the light, or what the lay of the land is.
Or just semi-ambiance lighting, maybe. Yeah.
Like
romantic
when
dinner.
One bulb has gone in your chandelier,
yes.
And you can't bother to change it.
Yeah, one of those low lighting energy grade bulbs. Anyway, speaking of which, I imagine that the room which Louise is in is very poorly lit right now. So let's go around and meet the cast and crew. Who are we? Who are we playing? Let's start with Louise. How's it going, Louise?
I'm going great, other than the fact that I am, in fact, changed this chair. My family have been taken hostage and all of that great stuff. Other than that, things are going pretty well, I'd say. Pretty well.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about Kasna.
Yes, Kasna is a female drow eldritch knight who is very much enamored with carnage and bloodshed. It's kind of like a drug to her. She can't get enough of it, though she is trying, now that the war is coming to an end, to take herself away from it and find out who she is outside of the battlefield. Something that is very hard to do when this kind of call for blood draws her. She is not alone on this quest. She is not only with this party of this ragtag crew. She also has her wonderful sister, who doesn't like her too much in most of the ways, but it's a great relationship that we have, a great family relationship. And you can hear more about Zune very soon. But yeah, that's Kasna.
Very soon.
Very soon, you'll hear.
Oh dear. Fantastic. Let's hear from Arrow TV, who's playing Aureus tonight. How's it going, my friend?
Hi, I'm very well. I am playing Aureus. I'm a druid from a very far away forest and very far away land. My deity, Sylvanus, called me to aid the forces of nature here. My character is very much so into the balance of nature, and around him he finds himself in a very, very not very friendly place for him. So he's having a hard time here.
Yeah.
But Sylvanus called him here. He was raised by the Fae, and Sylvanus saved his life as a child, so he owes a great debt to Sylvanus, and he's trying to restore the balance of nature here, which is a pretty daunting task for him. So
yeah. Fantastic. And we've got Laurelania back tonight, reprising her role as Zune. How's it going?
Good. Having fun. You got a brief description of Zune. Zune, unlike most females, surprisingly her sister as well, did not take to the tenets of Lolth, the typical Underdark deity. Instead, she found herself following the ways of Curiosity and going down the necromantic path, and she's seeking a way basically to live and to learn forever. She considers everyone around her inferior, including her own sister, and everybody is pretty much a tool as a means to her own end.
Wow, you sound like 13-year-old me. Fantastic. We've got Tool School back tonight as well, reprising his role as Gavin Fjordhammer. How's it going, Tool School?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, no, I am back in a crazy thunderstorm. So if you hear thunder from my mic, that's what it is. It's the wrath of Gavin as he goes against these fiends and undead. But yeah, Gavin Fjordhammer is back, who you might know from a couple other ERP campaigns that he was in. He is a paladin of St. Cuthbert, but also a death cleric of the Raven Queen through interesting magical happenings and the will of the chat and viewer decisions. He found himself on this split path trying to balance within himself the light and common sense of St. Cuthbert and the still sort of common sense and order of the Raven Queen and her protection of life and death itself. So he is leading a interesting band of clerics, paladins, and vampires known as Hope's Return. The vampires, which are actually the sort of honor guard of the Raven Queen that she has sent to help banish this sort of scourge upon the land. And Gavin is right now all about balance and trying to balance both the forces within himself and the sort of outward and visible sign of that is the forces of these 18 individuals, 12 humans, 6 vampires of Hope's Return. So it's going to be an interesting road for old Gavin.
Absolutely. As for my own part, I will be playing Gregor Tusken, who is a dwarf fighter / warlock who commands a band of convicts via this infernal pact that he has with his patron fiend. He's not particularly a good guy, but he's definitely not a bad guy. He's doing some bad things for the right reasons because there's war going on. A lot of people are dying, and Gregor just wants to make sure that maybe the war ends one day, or maybe he's fine of eternal war. He hasn't quite decided yet, but he's definitely on board with most of the weird things that the crew are doing so far, insofar as it doesn't hurt him too much. So the weird shit that's going on is fine by Gregor. Yeah, you've got demon friends, you've got vampire sure, whatever. No king shaming here. So that's my character, Gregor. But before we dive into the game and do a recap, I do have a Wild Magic Surge to roll for a sway. You can see it there on screen. But I remind you guys the ways to interact with today's show. The first which being, if you haven't followed, hit that follow button and join us. We're 10 followers away from a viewer decision where you guys get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. I believe last week you decided to spawn a giant fucking hellspawn creature for us to deal with this episode, so thanks for that. Also, here is the tweets for you guys, 20 retweets, another viewer decision, and it says subscribers. What we're doing this month, fucking get rid of that wheel on your screen, you twat. We're doing every £100 raised on Kickstarter, we'll do another viewer decision as well. So you can find our Kickstarter campaign here, my friends, and thank you for subscribing, Cal. Kickstarter campaign is there for a D&D5E and Pathfinder module. We raised 100% of our funds in under 24 hours, and now we're looking to smash through some stretch goals. We are only a couple £100 away from our next stretch goal, which is another 4 pre-generated characters set in the fantastic world of Fanria. So check out our Kickstarter if you haven't already. It's pretty fucking dope, if I do say so myself. And that's the main project that we're pushing at the moment. If you want to donate and stuff, you can do, but in this week in particular, we're encouraging people to pledge on the Kickstarter. And if you got something you want to do that would be involved in donations, let's fucking do that as well, because the Kickstarter campaign, That's what we want. That's what we want, my friends. But other than that, let's fucking hand over to Josh to remind us what happened last time. Oh, also, the recap from last week is on the website as well, in case you want to read rather than listen.
Indeed. So yeah, you guys ended up sort of marching forth. You have been sent forth as recon / possibly cannon fodder. You have pretty easily established and have established sort of in previous encounters and battles you've taken part of that you guys are not liked by the command. You're not known about by a lot of the regular infantry and soldiers. You are very much the deniable operators. You are the ones who will be sent first into the jaws of death. And in the jaws of death, you find yourself. As scouting out, we had Aureus, who sort of performed a bit of recon, turned into this giant flying eagle and invisible at the same time, and flew and found that there was this feature that looked to be artificial, or sort of been made by magic of some sort, and it's a trench that is concealed behind this jagged spike wall that is growing, these sort of crystalline rocky spikes that are growing out, and they're basically like a wall of halberds, a slashing wall of thorns, these not particularly strong but very sharp and would completely lacerate anything that came too close. And so the party sent through a earth elemental, which promptly wrecked through the entire wall with relative ease, finding it to be made of little more than sort of like the crust of this barren wasteland. And on the other side, it encountered something that destroyed it very, very casually, very easily, and the party found themselves staring through a narrow chasm that they've created, this small breach in the enemy's defenses, not knowing really how many forces they're going to find on the other side, and saw a humanoid sort of creature. It could be anywhere between 12 and 20 feet tall. You're at quite a distance still. You've got maybe 600 feet to get to the wall of spikes. And yeah, it's hard to describe really. It's inky black. Almost looks like someone has taken a humanoid and dipped them in oil. It sort of ripples. It doesn't have a real any features, any form. But as you look forward, if you guys have ever seen Vanta Black, that blackness that just swallows all light, there's no way of seeing any depth to it. It opens its jaw, if it even has a jaw, and sort of loses shape slightly. It sags and begins to lope forward. The whole form of this thing sort of distorts in a way. It ripples as if it had been alerted to your presence, and it starts to move forward, not particularly fast. It's sort of somehow lumbering and yet very graceful. It seems to just melt into each pose as if going through some strange routine, as if walking is completely arbitrary to it. It's something unusual. It's not used to it, and it's making its way forward, but I mean, it's got quite some distance to go. And then at the same time, along this ridgeline, which is sort of pretty nasty and stretches for miles in both directions, you guys will see that there is a lot of figures that have appeared, and they are caked in like the grime and dirt and dust. It looks like they've covered themselves in in mud and just ash and things to cover them, to give them camouflage in this rocky terrain. But they stand up, and as the army comes forward, rushing behind you, all of your from 100,000 strong forces of every kingdom, every powerful leader, anyone who would answer the call, essentially, comes rushing forward. It will become very much aware to you that they hold the high ground. You are rushing them. You have only one hole through, which is you could probably get about 10 guys through side by side, but everyone else is rushing towards a line of razors, and these guys have just summoned flames in their hands. This looks like it's going to be a shooting gallery. They are going to just open on you, and there is no cover. The only cover is right in front of you.
We're sitting ducks right now.
Can I roll an Arcana? Is it a construct? This black rippling thing?
You can try. Yeah, absolutely.
You can do whatever you put your mind to.
Indeed.
I search my vast knowledges and studies in the Underdark. Have I ever seen anything like this before?
You haven't. This is something. It doesn't seem to. Even the outline of it is unfamiliar. I mean, it genuinely looks like almost a stick figure. It's not particularly bulky. It's not particularly muscular. It's almost a little bit gangly in places. A little lank, but it just moves in a way you've never seen. The best way I could describe it would be someone that is almost seizing. It's shuddering forward, and it doesn't see. You can't tell which way it's looking. You can't see any eyes. You can't see any. It doesn't appear to be armed or wearing any sigils. And on as you're studying this thing, give me a perception check as you're doing that. On a 9, you can't tell how, like, if it's alone. You can't tell if this is like a one of a kind, if it's being herded, if it has a cadre with it.
If I take my time to switch from regular light to infravision, no matter how much it pains me, does it still show the same in both lights down the tunnel as like a blacky inkness?
Is it
alive, or does it like give off any heat sensing?
No, absolutely none.
Okay.
None at all.
I switch my eyes back to regular vision.
Crushingly cold.
I look to my sister ahead while I'm on Morty and to the others. This is no construct that I have ever read nor seen about. This is not good.
So, as you sort of study this thing, Aureus, you have just watched something you've summoned, an ally of nature itself. Maybe some people would consider a tool a warrior, but that was an earth elemental that you brought forth, and it has just been torn into rubble. There's now a small gravel pathway that you'll be encountering if you rush through this chasm. So how does Aureus take this and the very unnatural look of whatever has just done this?
What the hell? Oh, Aureus, you're quiet right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The Earth Elemental dying. So what does Aureus see? Or I see Aureus sees the Earth Elemental die. What else does he see after this big?
You see a lot of guys in every direction, sort of like they're not like too deep. They seem to be like spaced every 10 meters apart. Come up onto like varying elevations of the ridgeline, and they sort of emerge, and you only sort of catch the first glimpses of them because you watch as sort of like their hands splay and fire just ripples into existence as what could be fireballs, firebolts, something. You imagine it's probably not. They're not lighting the way. Is sort of conjured into their hands. But so far as you can see ahead, this thing.
Am I able to discern that they're fiends, or what? They're hostile? Am I able to discern that?
Definitely. Look, you've seen this sort of tactics before. You can't really make out what their numbers are, or
but lots of them, right?
Yeah.
Multiple.
I mean,
more than 2.
Multiple hostiles.
You probably outnumber them at about 5 to 1, but they have the high ground, and they.
And if Anakin taught me anything,
Yeah.
Can I quickly just cast protection from evil and good on me, which gives me some stuff against the nasty fiends that we are.
Indeed.
okay.
I'm just gonna do that.
Does anyone know what the
Put my hand
hell?
on my chest.
Anyone know what the hell that thing is, and can we kill it?
I don't know what it is, but I'd say yes. Anything that lives can be killed.
I have the high ground, and I don't know about you, but my legs are pretty short.
Well, you'll have to move faster.
Well, you're not fucking carrying me.
Regardless, we have to get through that hole. I look left and right and call out to the Hope's return and say, form up the Queen's Talon. And they basically get into a V formation. 5 paladins at the front, Gavin at the point, 3 vampires on each side to guard the flanks, clerics in the center. They cast Beacon of Hope, and which basically covers the entire V, so everyone gets max healing. And then basically as we charge through, they are casting either Spiritual Guardians to protect behind the V, or Mass Healing Word, which is healing 54 up to 54 people of at least 12, and at any overlaps, number goes down, but the healing goes up.
So
it is a coordinated assault to bust through fiend lines.
As this happens, is it the V is sort of like, is this sort of a pincer maneuver, or is this?
No, it's a point. Yeah. So it's Gavin at the point. He raises the Raven Queen's hammer and just said, form the Queen's Talon, and starts to begin almost like you would have cavalry charge, but it is people, and we're not trying to charge into this thing. We actually want to try to sort of, we're aiming for the whole, to get us behind the people, and hopefully he doesn't suddenly become very fast and agile.
Okay.
Since we know we were sort of off to the left flank as it is, we're hoping that we can sort of get behind and go through and lead all these poor people out of this horrible spot we're in.
What does Zune and Zune and Kazna, you guys have like a horde of 50 lunatics who are have either their minds are broken, they've taken to drink, they've taken to substance abuse, they've taken to just killing pretty much anything they can. These are the lowest of the low, the most desperate. You haven't learned any of their names. None of them mean anything to you, and they are baying for blood. Some of them have already drawn blood. You notice probably down to 47, as 3 of them have tried to do something stupid and had just been cut down.
I'm so proud of those 3.
There's like basically this just absolute lunacy that calls out in them, and you will see that it's kind of they've drawn blood, and there are some vampires standing not too far away who start to sort of like step out and to either side to give them a little bit of distance. Vincent, sort of the leader of this vampire sect, turns to Gavin and says, "We must push forward. If we have any hope, we must break their line."
I understand, my friend. I want us to get these gentlemen, looking at the rabble of both Will, I forgot your character's name, I'm sorry.
Gregor Tuscan.
Gregor and Zune's sister. We need to get them attacking fiends and not each other, and we need to get you where you can be most effective, which is behind that wall.
Hey, you got a plan?
Follow us, stay close, kill anything that tries to break the formation.
I like this plan.
Send your berserkers to go create havoc and distraction.
So I'll look up at Kazna. As I look up at everyone now.
I'll look down at you.
Are you ready then? Ready to go fuck some people up with me?
Born ready.
Alright, just like the old days. And I'll begin to organize these.
So Aureus kind of looks out and looks at the mages, and he says, a path will be made. You will not be alone. Nature has your aid this day. And I'm going to begin to conjure a giant stone wall between the majority of our army and theirs to kind of act as a cover. And the stone wall is going to be shaped in such a way that there's it's like a battlement almost that our soldiers can peek through and jump through, but it provides cover from what Aureus
Oh.
assumes is fire magic.
We're doing the
That's
fucking
actually-
We're doing a fucking Osgiliath right now. Yeah.
That is that's a great for me. I can cast spells from behind the.
All right, lads, we're gonna hold this line right here on the wall. Okay, we got the pretty elven wall now.
So
Isn't exactly dwarven architecture, mind.
this all happens in quite a short space of time. It's quite a hectic confusion. A couple of things are going to happen. First of all, Gavin, I'm going to need you to roll me. Let's see, what's the most appropriate roll for this?
This is when it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Roll me a die roll.
Roll me a death saving throw.
You know what? I'm going to make it an animal saving.
An animal saving.
saving.
This is fucking
Roll me
animal rescue
roll
right
me an
now.
animal
Animal handling.
Use the
Roll me a
animal.
veterinary check. And,
Veterinary check.
And today, the poor little badger is getting his paw seen to.
so yeah, roll me animal handling.
Animal handling, 21.
On a 21, so on a 21, you see that the Blood Moon twins are just sort of snapping at the heels of Vincent, who is managing to hold them back. And sort of one stern look from you puts them back. Like, they don't decide to just rush forward and try and get into the fray of this. In fact, most of your lot stay very quiet. There is one. Aureus, you would realize that you have someone standing right next to you, like within. You have a personal space invader who has sort of come down, and she
That's what we call
is,
them these days.
Indeed. That's what this is. Have you not realized there's the big ball and you guys are just coming up and I'm just going to send wave after wave, and that's their tactic. They will just move just along and then down again. So yeah, you guys, in fact, everyone will sort of be able to see this, is whether or not you're paying attention, but there is a wood elf standing next to you. She is wearing the most tattered clothing you've ever seen, all of it dark. All of it looks like it was once quite beautiful, and has just been destroyed by time. It's hanging off her in strips. She has raven black hair, which is just a mess in every direction.
Welcome,
and
Demi.
she is
Thank you,
staring at you with the most burning cold intensity you've ever sort of... She's probably, this is the moment where Aureus might realize that this is how he comes across to other people sometimes, just staring quietly, sullenly from a distance, except she's about here, and she seems to be studying you, looking you up and down.
Is this before or after I've summoned the giant battlements in the middle of the thing?
As it's happening, like literally,
As it's happening, okay.
you watch as like a one edge of the wall comes and it just it sort of like rises up, and her right foot is standing on top of it, and she starts to like rise up, and then she falls sideways, and she is now standing horizontally in front of you, off the wall.
Off the wall I just built?
Yep, just sort of. She's basically doing, you know, that amazing thing that people can do when you pull yourself
right.
on, you
Yeah.
flagpole.
Flagpole.
Like that, except her feet are just planted on the wall, and she's perfectly horizontal. Her hair is falling off in one direction, but other than that, she's just staring at you.
I try to decipher, Aureus tries to decipher whether or not this is some sort of magical effect. Obviously startled, but collected. He tries to look to see if this is some sort of magical effect that's attaching her to the wall that he just built.
You didn't see her cast anything. This you'd also get the. She's one of them. She's one of the ones that is probably not particularly
Alive.
Yeah.
Do I notice this?
I'm going to say not until suddenly she's standing sideways. That's the moment
That
where
would be when I notice.
it's very obvious as the battlements rise. And just as this happens, everyone give me a dexterity saving throw.
I suck at dexterity.
Let's see what is my
Praise
dex.
curiously.
Ooh.
Woo! Sister, please. You're a dark elf. Act like one. I'm
Oh,
also on
I've been
top
on
of
the
four.
that
surface.
sounds
Oh.
about right.
Yeah,
I'm looking after the dwarf, that's why. That's my excuse.
I'm a little distracted with the
There's your
twins and
problem.
Gwendolyn.
So you see Gwendolyn. What is it you go to say to her just as all hell breaks loose?
Gwendolyn, do we have a problem?
As you're rising.
Apparently so.
Aureus,
is Gavin, is he addressing the thing next to me?
I'm addressing the vampire who's basically on the wall next to you and who's examining you closely.
I feel this. I smell the stench of death.
Hey, we'll get used to it. About to fucking kill some people.
I'm holding my quarterstaff and I'm just kind of looking at the wall, and she's standing on this wall, and the stench of death fills my nostrils. I need not this distraction.
And as that happens, she's actually going to be absolutely fine. The others are going to need to make some rolls, so let's just check there. Roll for these guys. That is, I've got an okay dex. So, no, they don't. As the first volley comes in and it hits everyone, bar Laura, so Zune and Aureus actually, and indeed Gwendolyn, who is technically sort of in full cover, as these sort of battlements that have the gaps through that can be shot through, that men can sort of like push through, suddenly all light up as if there is a rocket being launched on the other side. These sort of vents, all of the heat comes through. You feel the wall shakes. It breaks away in places, but it seems to hold as the first volley comes in. It is earth-shakingly powerful. This is you're essentially against an army of casters. It is quite a thing to be feared. As fireballs come ranging in, you guys you've got quite a bit of cover, and they can't really shoot around it. However, everyone's going to take a little tickle of damage.
They do get disadvantaged against me, but given that I had a 4, I
Well,
don't
it's
think
that
that's going to
AoE.
change much.
It's AoE, yeah.
Yeah,
AoE.
it's the splash damage that's the problem.
So take
It always
16
is.
fire damage.
16?
Yeah.
Holy
That's
fuck.
fine.
Take cover under my shield, lass.
This is fine.
Halved
me.
for those who made it. So Laura and Aaron, you guys take half.
Actually, my shield is shite.
And yeah, so the first volley comes in. It's pretty crazy, and like around you there is this. You can see that on the other side of the wall, like there is a ton of light coming through, and this roaring, almost humming sound coming, as it appears that the planes on the other side have just been set ablaze in this opening salvo. You've established that this is going to be a slogging match. You've gone trench warfare as your opening move, and they seem happy to oblige. So.
Can I look down about our group of crazy ragtag people, and I shout at them, the first one to bring me a spell back worth of note gets to spend a week in my bed.
Roll me.
Persuasion
You know
advantage.
You guys have beds.
They're all loot.
We have beds?
You let them have beds. Jesus
all of them are up for it. It's whether or not they're going to make it.
Wish I could have a fucking bed.
You said we're up against a group of spellcasters, and I haven't had a chance to add to my spell book in a long time. So did you say persuasion or performance?
No, they're
They
gonna
just
go
went.
for it.
Okay, bye, boys!
And 42, couple of them did not survive that volley, but about 42 lunatics wearing no armor, armed with like what are essentially like butcher knives, anything they could find that they could make a blade from, shivs, bill hooks, just everything, rush forward, and they vanish from sight. If you peek
Sick 'em, boys.
as they move straight at, they're not even going for like the chasm entrance. They're just going straight at this really sharp, nasty, imposing barricade that's in front of them. It's probably not going to go well for them.
What's our range? What's the distance between the wall and the barricade? Our wall and their barricade?
I'm gonna put you at 100 foot.
Okay.
All right, at this point, I'm ordering all of my convicts to like fucking get in cover because this is like parapeted, right? Like a battlement,
Yeah.
like arrows.
There's even like every 10 meters or so, there's like a small
Stair.
Well, there's a small way through.
Waypoint. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably a technical term. Do we have a sally port? That's the question. I'm gonna scream at them and say, "Get your fucking heads down! And if you pop up, then better sure to kill at least 2 of them." And I'm gonna just fucking lob an axe somewhere, into someone. At this point,
Roll it.
All right. Okay.
Just without even looking, just throws it.
Yeah,
over
just fucking go. It's a 16.
At 16, you know what? You give it a hurl. You just grab an axe, you hurl it as hard as you can, and through all the chaos, I mean, you have no idea if you hit. But you look up, and there was at least 3 guys who were standing sort of in a cluster who aren't there anymore. Whether or not they've taken cover, whether or not you killed one of them, you don't know. And literally, you throw it, and just one of your men just hands you another axe straight away.
Yeah, I imagine there's one guy cowering, and I come over towards him if you don't get up, I'm gonna peel off your pole bag, and let that one there, and I point at Zune. Fucking sew it over your eyes so there's nothing left, okay? And then I thrust an axe into his hand and kick him.
I glare at them like I would be more than happy to.
Yeah. She fucking means it.
This man, roll me an intimidation. I want to see how fearsome their commander is.
Yeah. Oh, this is something I'm...
Does he get it with advantage because I'm assisting him in my evilness?
Okay, it's a 21.
This guy just stands up. He gets it's that Starship Troopers moment of "you apes want to live forever." He stands up, ready to go. He climbs up and immediately draws a crossbow, fires, and then he doesn't even take cover. He just starts reloading, standing there, swearing, sweating. You can't tell if he's nervous or angry or motivated or shit.
Yeah.
This guy's.
I've decided to move away from Billy Connolly and move towards Malcolm Tucker from the thick of it.
So we
there
have
you go.
the wall with the parapets. We have, I'm assuming, coming around the wall is the Talon's Fang going through and creating. Or sorry, what was it? The
Queen's Talon will be moving
Talon.
out. Basically,
Moving around. Are they
from
already
behind the wall towards the.
Are they already out,
opening.
or did our psychopaths go before them and then you're following?
The psychopaths have gone.
Psychopaths I think went before us because I was like, berserkers make the distraction over the wall. We're going to come from around the wall and try to punch
I was hoping
in.
for.
Yeah.
Okay, so once the Fang has started going around the wall, then I'm going to start moving up to the parapet. I'm going to cast mirror image on myself and get ready to start hurling some spells over top of that.
Cool. Makes sense. So you actually do this, and as this happens, Gregor, you actually see 2 of your men flinch away as Zune becomes one of many Zunes, as their worst nightmares are realized. Kazar has a moment where she is now has many sisters. And you have, how many duplicates is it? I believe it's
3 duplicates and then the 1 real me.
There are now 4 Zunes, all of which sort of move slightly differently. They sort of seem to admire their own visage. They give cold smiles.
I'd like to take this moment to grin at my sister, look at the people that are getting a bit scared of her, and I'd like to do the exact same because I also have that spell.
Oh my god. I don't know who's worse.
We were trained by the same wizard. I mean, we're sisters.
There's only so much you can do down in the Underdark.
I say.
So it's pretty terrifying, to be completely honest. And Gregor, one of your men comes up to you and is just like, "So, what's the plan? Are we just slogging them from here?"
What do you mean there's a fucking plan? I don't know if there's a fucking plan. There's fucking 8 elves when there was 2 of them, mate. I don't know what the fuck's going on right now. All I know is that there's a bunch of fuckwits going over that hill, and all you gotta do is fucking pick up the nearest rock or weapon and smash the fuckers over the head with it, okay?
I thought we were going with the explosives. He gestures to several sort of what are essentially Hessian bags.
We have explosives now.
Yeah.
Where did you get? Who did you steal explosives from?
he's like, well, we came through the Black Mountains, didn't we?
We'll talk about that later, laddie. We'll talk about that fucking later. All right, line them up over there, okay? And I want one of you fuckers to fucking suicide yourselves in there, okay? Pick the one that you hate the most, or at least 3 of them together. You know, the weird fuckers that sit in the corner on their own all the time. Get them, throw them out there, and then we'll fucking get one of the elves to fire a firing missile at it, and it'll go boom. Does that make sense? Fucking do it! No! And I'm gonna...
and he's just
I fucking love dwarves!
I turn to the 8 elves. Now which one of you fuckers can get a... Fucking hell, you all look the fucking same. Just blow up my friends! And then I start fighting.
You watch as this guy advances, and like about 6 of them move over to these 3 very quiet ones who see them coming and sort of back up and hit the wall. One of them just runs. One of them just breaks into open ground and starts tearing towards the enemy because it's more preferable than whatever is about to happen.
Boy.
The other guy draws an axe as if to try and strike down the guy you've just given this order to, and just has his arm shattered by a warhammer. And they begin to strap these guys up.
The guy who's running away, I tell the elves to shoot.
I'll shoot him.
I'll firebolt him as well. I'll use a cantrip. I just want to make him blow up.
Roll me the attack.
I'll give him a crossbow.
Fireball, how did it?
11. I'm not rolling well today.
Fireball hits him, yeah. I have a good AC, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not even necessarily trying to hit him, but just whatever explosive he's carrying, because that sounds.
No, he didn't. He ran.
Oh.
He ran.
He's off.
Yeah, but he tries to sprint out of cover and immediately is just gunned down by what does Zoom's firebolt look like?
I would prefer it to be a black fire, just kind of like a rolling
absolutely.
black oily fire that goes and explodes. As it's a cantrip, I can't imagine it having too much display, anything black or eerie looking is Zun's style.
You launch it forth, and there's just the slightest tinge of like almost like in the center, a very bright purple that is almost by the black, and it hits him, and it looks like a pinprick, and then suddenly it blossoms outwards. This guy goes up in flames and keeps running, but he's screaming, and he's running through like the ground around him is just torn to hell. The once flat landscape that was it's salt flats, and it's just been hit by a barrage, so it's just now the most jagged ground.
Boy, I'm gonna launch a fireball down there next. This is gonna be great. Watch this.
And you can hear the chaos that's guys being sort of like these 2 guys who are being given their last rites, which means that they are being, one of them is being covered in what is like a blasting jelly type stuff, and has like this huge satchel strapped to him, and has had both his arms broken apparently. The other guy has been pinned down, and they have a bottle of what looks like it could be solvent, you have no idea, and they're just forcing it down his throat as they're getting him as drunk as possible before they send him out. So that's the story of Yorgos. The lunatics that just ran forward have hit the enemy line. The guys, those who are up on the wall, will watch as maybe 20 of them just impale themselves and die. They get carved apart, but the rest manage to sort of fight their way in and find that there's sort of like almost like a network of very tight corridors and really nasty crawl spaces on the other side.
Are we starting to push forward?
You guys
Slowly?
have an entire army, maybe half a mile behind you.
I mean, the army we were supposed to warn about this, but haven't. That's fine.
But as you will watch this, you don't just have one druid in the army, and you watch as walls go up on either side to like bridge the gap, because there's no way your wall will cover sort of everything. But
at most, it's 200 feet long.
Yeah, but Aureus sort of has set the precedent, and more start to appear, and this wall expands and reinforces.
So we're behind the wall. All the enemies are on the other side.
And there's 100 foot of no man's land.
And that's where all the fun is my
there's
question.
Napalm, there's shredded
Gav.
flooring in every direction, and then there's the spike wall, and there's a bunch of sorcerers and magic users there, and whatever this creature is.
Yep.
Gavin's troop are going up that way.
Yeah, Gavin is about to go out in this V formation to try to basically charge into. I mean, if your wall is here, I'm thinking that, because we were on the left flank, we're going around the end of the wall to be as close as, the shortest run across no man's land through the gap, hopefully not drawing the big guy. Let the army and whatever they've got planned for the big guy. What we want to do is...
It's on the other side still.
Oh, I know, but like I said, you were saying he was coming out, we're coming on the left. I'm hoping that we do this number, that basically he's going towards the army and that we're going behind the big thing through the hole he came out of.
So my sister's going to charge with Gavin.
Yeah,
I'm going to follow behind her.
Come and join you, because it is... Cassie's like, quite boring over here, actually. Let's go, sister. And she's just gonna start marching out.
And we go at a fairly good clip, and it's just, Gavin just says, protect the center, or actually, I'm sure Kazan will want to be on the front line with the vampires and the paladins to help cut the swath. And the trick is, if you stay within 30 feet of the center of the V, you are getting pretty much healed every round, because the clerics are all in the center just doing mass healing words.
I'm going to be at the very back of that 30 feet, because I assume that Gavin's sister, stuff me from the back, and I'm just going to be casting cantrips at people
absolutely.
that get too
Anything
close.
You can do to help to basically either knock the big thing for us is fireballs coming in to try to keep those down to spells or whatever, but Gavin basically, raises his hammer. The paladins raise their hammers in a huge cheer, thaumaturgy cheer, and just, for hope's return. And we go out. The vampires on either side with their speed, trying to kill off anything that's coming over.
Fearsome bunch. Do we get some sort of intimidation, as it looks like an army of drow and clerics are going?
I was gonna say, now there's 6 of you guys added to our ranks.
There's now 6 drow. Who's is Gregor and?
So is my job here done at the wall?
You watch as 2 of your guys are sent out, and whether or not they will do what they are told is. Just give me an intimidation just to get them to run. Essentially, okay. Basically, are you worse than what is on the other side?
Okay. We'll see. It's +6. It's 22.
These guys fucking run. One of them staggers and sort of zigzags and immediately breaks off, and they're not going to hit at the same point, which is actually better. They're just they're trying to split up. So if one gets hit, he doesn't set the other one off. They're both trying to get away from everyone as fast as they can. They rush forward, and they're going to outpace you guys because they don't give a shit. Yeah. And they're not in heavy armor, and they're not worrying about sort of counter sniping. So, Gregor, your men are ready to go. You still got 18 guys who are fully.
Yeah. All right, leave the dead. Let's go after those lot. They look like they've got fucking hope over their lads. Let's see if it actually is real. And I'm gonna, whip them into shape. And
there's a couple of
someone
cheers.
Fucking
from
push me.
Yeah, there's a couple of cheers from some of the older salts who have been with you for quite some time.
Yeah.
Who are just like hope. I remember that. Hey. And they, all drink and run.
And I'll grab the elf as we're going, and I say, "Oi lad, you waiting there? What for? Fucking spring!" And I'm gonna just run as I taunt him.
Aureus,
I see all these other walls go up, and I see my companions. They're in front of the wall now. Yeah.
Get it.
Mm-hmm.
My companions, or I gotta unmute myself, don't I? Yeah, I'm unmuted. Anyway, so my companions are in front of the wall that I've created now, and all these other walls have gone up. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the concentration of my wall. So anyone on top of that is going to fall off, because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to Aureus is going to concentrate, and he's going to pray to the phase of the forest, and he's going to bring these little pixies are going to show up, and he's going to talk to these pixies. He's going to go, I need you to, you're the best creatures for the job here. I need you to help and aid these these humans and dwarves and drows, they are going to charge the line, and they're under bombardment of fire spells. Your magic resistance and your ability to polymorph creatures is much needed here. I need you to each individually go out and find any creature trying to target these there's about 8 of them. I can summon up to 8 of them. And I need you to go out, and I need you to polymorph or sleep or anything you can do with your fey magic to prevent these fireballs from hitting.
Okay.
Nice.
They seem, there's like hesitance there, because you brought them into a very desolate and horrible place. This couldn't be further from the Fae if you tried. But also, they really don't like the idea of being around whatever this force you told them to guide and protect. Not their kind of get their cup of tea. But they turn, they come sort of like to the gap. They see that Hope's Return is sort of pushing out, is starting to carve its way into no man's land, and they take your guidance, and they are going to move out. And as you guys, so Hope's Return, you've got 20 guys in a V formation, backed up by a bunch of sort of berserk drunks who are actually have some decent arms. Somewhere just off to your right, running like lunatics, are 2 men who fate has not been kind to. There is something ahead standing sort of like on the other side, set back from this chasm. As you guys rush out, you realize that creature hasn't moved. It's on the other side, and if you go, as you start running forward, you realize that you are running you are running directly at it, but I mean, there's space to fan out on the other side. You were going to have room to move, to peel off, to change direction once you get out, but it looks like this thing is just holding. Gavin, as you're at the front, roll me a perception check, as Hope's Return suddenly becomes this burning bright light. Everything lights up. The ground around you sort of starts to crack, and you find the earth beneath the crust that is sort of like the salt flats. And the sheer force of your spirit guardians that the clerics sort of put up at the front just clears the debris away. You are a snowplow coming through, just destroying the land, making it level, and there is just bolts of light that start raining out from you guys, as seeing that, you are going to run between what is essentially a gate, and there are up top, there are people who could fire down at you. The clerics are going to guiding bolt the absolute shit
out of everything.
To just try and make sure that you guys can pass through. So I want to roll for them, see how well they do. And in the meantime, 20 perception. You actually see that on the other side, you see a bunch of the Fiend Touched come running around the corner. There's about 5 of them. They have makeshift shields, like the most ragtag mixture of different races and different builds, come rushing around the corner with shields and spears, and they come almost to the sort of like, they pull around, and this thing may be 50 feet behind them, and it sort of stares down at them, looms over them, and then it sort of hunkers down as if right behind them. Its mouth opens, and they disintegrate. These 5 guys just vanish. The ground in front of them shatters, and you just watch as everything, all the dust and ash that is left of the ground that it carves, it burrows its way into the ground, is just torn away and into this thing's mouth and vanishes. There's no trace. It doesn't shift. It doesn't look like it takes it in any way. It just tears everything apart. And you can actually see that it is being attacked. Bolts of fire are striking it, and it doesn't seem to be reacting. They look like they're fighting this thing on the other side. Whatever this is bad news for everyone, it seems.
So the casters on the wall aren't just shooting.
No, they're all shooting. There's more guys behind the wall.
Okay, but there's guys behind the wall who are fighting this horrible thing. And if we keep on our current trajectory, we're basically going right into that kill zone in front of its mouth.
You probably got about, I'm going to say maybe 200 feet between sort of like the end of the back of the wall and where this thing's feet are.
So,
but you don't know how fast this thing moves.
So, just so I'm clear, he is still behind the glass obsidian battlements, the big thing, or is he out in front of the battlements, the enemy battlements?
He's on the other side. He's on their side.
Right.
He hasn't come through.
But the gap from the elemental is in front of him.
Yeah. You are looking through that gap to see.
Right, and we can get through that gap without coming into range of that disintegration effect, apparently. I mean, see, how far back from the gate is he, I guess I'm asking?
He's probably about 200 feet back.
Okay, so we could get through and then wheel to the side or something.
The lunatics that me and Zune sent through, did they get into the range of this thing? Did we see them get disintegrated, or did they get past it?
You didn't see anything.
I was just saying, they're going up over the actual battlement, right? Not through the gate.
Oh, okay.
They went into what is essentially a forest of thorns and spikes.
Okay, that's fine. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
So you guys all run.
Be fine.
Give me an athletics check, everyone. Zoon. No, you don't need to, Zoon. You're on horseback.
Good for you.
You have a war horse.
Aureus is still.
Go, Marty. Thanks, Marty.
Why am I rolling? I have such good modifiers, but I'm so bad at rolling.
Yeah, 16. Whatever. Yeah, 16. Fuck me.
Would you like Aureus to make an athletics check as well? Because I'm still standing where I was.
I didn't. No, if you're not advancing forward, then no. You are good. I'm just going to draw up like a rough makeshift sort of topography of what is going on, just so you've got something to look at.
I get a wild magic surge from Greg as well. Fuck me. Okay.
Enjoy that.
Oh, don't worry. He's playing Call of Cthulhu with me tomorrow, so I can get him back then.
What was your
That's
first surge
playing
that
with
you
fire,
got?
isn't it?
Yeah, my first surge that I got from Sway was all magic light sources within 1 mile hum loudly when in use. Interesting.
So there's a lot of noise.
So
noise
basically,
going on.
the entire Talon's Claw, which is lit up by cleric light,
It's
we
like,
just sound like.
You are literally rolling thunder at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I'm
would
Tool
probably
School's
help with
room.
our intimidation.
Nice.
3595 tomorrow.
Zoom finds it incredibly annoying.
Oh, fuck me. Tomorrow I'm going to meet someone who can remove my skin at will. Is it fucking Kasna or Zune?
Who knows?
Actually,
I wonder which.
I'm quite skilled.
Also,
These are things we've done before.
Kasna gets a wild magic surge from Hello Sweetie as well.
Oh, sweetie, thank you.
Oh, sweetie.
The thing is, when you're removing skin, you want to start from the fingertips and toes.
Yeah.
The hardest to.
I shave off.
I
my
tend to go from the
fingertips.
head like a banana and just kind of peel it like that.
Start
Then
with the
how are you
scalp,
supposed to use the face as a mask afterwards? Like-
This is true. These are problems that
Scholarly debate.
These are
We're-
things that we
we're-
talk about as sisters.
We're here to tackle.
Just girl talk, you know.
just girl.
You know when-
Hashtag just girl.
You know when
things.
guys are wondering what girls talk about? It's just this. It's just how to flay skin off people. You can climb like a monkey, Kasna.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It's a skill that I've had.
Ugh, that's
The only
actually
Underdark.
that's repulsive. It seems like spider climbing, sister. Ugh.
So you are rushing forth over sort of the train, the red sort of representing the front and back of the wall. That's the hole that is torn through it.
Okay.
You guys, the green square, this lob because I can't draw triangles.
That's
and
fine.
Setback is sort of like this black thing, and just to your right there is a sudden explosion as two figures vanish. They go out, lights wink out as this huge detonation, and you will see men being flung from the top of their battlements as it's worked quite effectively. And there is now another very large, probably quite even bigger, ragged hole torn through their line, and you like the guys on top within 100 feet on each direction all throw themselves down, because it sends up shrapnel, like crystalline shards, just go out in every direction for 100 feet. Luckily, it's far enough away that it doesn't affect you guys, but it's absolute hell for the guys who are up top, who are firing down on you. And your clerics hammer the absolute crap out of them with guiding bolts. And the more you hit, the easier it is to keep hitting because it
Right.
gets advantage. So, it's going quite well. On the right side, you have 3 figures. You see Aureus, you see the creepy wood elf who was paying you quite a lot of attention, is rushing forward. She's leading the sort of the pack on the right. And pack is a interesting term because she drops to all fours and starts to run on all fours like a beast. She goes straight at the line. She doesn't bother trying to go through this gap with you guys. She hurls herself up and she crests the top of this 50-foot high giant spike shard like battlement and hits someone, and they vanish. They just fucking vanish. As at the last second, you watch she changes from what looks to be a humanoid, sort of a wood elf, to something much larger and much hairier, and just impacts him, probably shattering every bone in his body as this caster goes down. Next to her, 2 other individuals, one rushing forward, very light on his feet, very easy to spot in most of the time, but out here it's actually a little bit more difficult because he's just as pale as the ground that he's running across. Barefoot, this would be someone else who was from an old campaign. This is Shin, who rushes forth and just throws himself up and like basically hops foot to foot over the spikes, using them as a running trap to get up to the top. And he makes it up to the top, as does the third of their group. On the other side, there is Vincent and the 2 twins who go forth. Vincent basically behind them. If he had his hand outstretched, you could imagine an imaginary leash as if he's walking the dogs. This regal, very well-dressed figure with 2 bounding, baying, psychotic-looking twins who are moving eerily synchronized as they move forward, and they too sort of like, they don't go up and over, they go into the mess of it all, and they vanish from sight just as you guys reach the entranceway. And it's pretty chaotic. All around you, you're going to hear blood, curdling screams. You're going to hear the sounds of battle. It's gruesome. Like, everyone who made it this far has got right into the grill of of the enemy. They are up in their faces. They are all in their business, and it's no longer about who's more powerful. It's about how fast are you, and can you stab them before they stab you. It's chaos all around, and you realize that this battlement is basically a hollow spider web of fiberglass like death. So everyone who's fighting in there is probably going to die, but they are giving everyone's fighting their all.
Is there anyone close enough for me to hit yet?
You guys are about to be rushed as they are going to try and block this gap. So
now here it comes.
What is left of their Shiltrum is going to come round. They sort of take a moment. They're not going to be particularly well formed up, as they are missing certain numbers which have just been destroyed by whatever that thing is sort of silhouetted behind them. But yeah, fiends of all different shapes and sizes, or the fiend touched more like, come around the corner, and you see what look like they were once tieflings, but with massively oversized jaws, teeth like pouring out of their mouth. You see some of them actually have like spines ridging their back. Others have horns that sort of like curl round and are reefed in flame. These things are disproportioned and very, very vicious looking, and most definitely the enemy that you have come to know. And they bring over a wall of steel, of iron, of wood that they slam down in the form of this Shiltrum, and you guys are coming straight at them. So, is the plan to go through them? Is the plan to lock with them? or are you going to try and split? I'm presuming Gavin is going straight at this. So
Gavin's going through, knowing. I mean, yeah, Gavin's going straight through. I mean, he's got the maul out and is going to try to punch a hole. That's what this formation's for, is punching a hole to try to let the others flood in behind and clean up.
As you guys emerge on the other side, everyone give me a perception check.
God.
There is...
I mean, everyone doesn't have to follow me. I'm just saying that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm following. I am in the action.
Yep.
I'm so perceptive. In fact, I am the most perceptive.
I am 0% perceptive. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
The sisters are distracted.
I'm
I'm
looking for
seeing blood
spellbooks,
everywhere.
okay?
I'm getting a bit crazy.
I'm looking for spellbooks.
I'm looting right now.
Zoom, you don't see anything because of the blinding light that is in front. In fact, neither of the sisters see anything, as you are currently being blinded, being drow, and having just the sheer amount of radiant light that is in front of you, with guiding bolts going off.
Oh, I was in front of everybody with Gavin.
Yeah,
They're
but we're.
behind
I
me.
mean,
Gavin,
It
you
still would
are
be
in it.
radiating
You are
light,
basically-
yeah, because
It's
it's guiding
lighting up.
bolts then radiate it back, so they're theoretically easier to hit, but probably not for drow.
If only
fine.
we had
It's
some
fine.
sort of glasses that could block this sunlight like.
I think you're onto something there, sister.
Indeed.
Heresy.
So, you guys rush forward, and just on the other side, everyone who isn't completely blind will see that there is a huge trench that has been carved into the ground. It's maybe 30 feet wide, like 30 feet across, and it looks pretty deep, and there are troops just clambering over the edge to get out. There's a lot of these guys. They're pretty stretched. They're stretched quite wide and quite thin, but more just seem to keep coming. And you guys are about to enter sort of like real heavy combat. So we're gonna need to roll some initiative here as the chaos really gets under sway.
Okay, let's go.
And
My initiative is 4.
I'm really
9.
not rolling well today.
No, it's not your day.
Problem. It's not my day today, lads. It's not my
Did
day
we have
today.
tokens that we needed to select for turn order, or?
oh,
Yeah, did you have a map or thing?
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to add
We are
a manual.
Okay.
moving around quite a lot.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hey, and Vegeta Charas for £3 donation, Nat 20 for Laurelania. Thank you, my friend.
That'd be nice.
There we go. Need it off that Nat 1.
It's Curiosely.
Indeed, her divine favor.
My
Gavin,
character's not a devout follower. I'm kind of leaning towards Gavin's character's
She-
religion right now. Looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, that looks nice.
One of my villa, yeah.
What is her name? The Crow Queen? The Raven Queen?
Raven Queen.
Raven Queen.
Lots of
So
death.
basically, it's that question of, does it come in black? That's the question.
Yeah, the Raven Queen's got some sick black leather outfits.
I like the aesthetic. Oh my god.
Yeah. Making warp
Such a queen. Yes.
You don't want to
Yeah,
get involved in
queen,
vanilla.
So you guys
Slay
will-
Queen, slay.
Slay.
Yes,
Slay.
bitch,
Oh.
yes.
I'm
Yeah, work it, girl.
right. You know what? The void monster's coming forward.
I think that's a fucking void there, lads. I think it's calling to us.
No, I
It's calling us
refuse.
to slay it.
It's calling us to slay queen.
God.
So
Oh.
we have
Connolly
this
cannot
is-
say that.
Yeah,
Female
Connolly is.
mid-
it's
All I
not-
want in my
it's
life
not
is to hear
black.
Connolly say that in a serious face.
He would.
You know, yeah, you know he would. He's just the most.
At least now I have a way to tease his character. Gavin.
Oh,
yeah.
whoops. What did I miss?
You've missed a lot.
Oh, whoops.
Crow Queen.
Oh, obviously from chat, Raven Queen jokes.
The Raven Queen I shop at Hot Topic.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh god.
I
I
like
followed
that
the Raven
store.
Queen before it was cool, guys, so you need to get on my level.
Yeah.
I was an OG follower of RG back when they were known as that.
The RQ, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dark you.
Fucking hell.
Do you even know any of their songs? I don't think so.
Yeah, see.
Fucking hell. Can we just kill something?
Please.
Anything. A lifetime in hell. Spelling this, lads. Come on.
Okay, it's called The Void. That can't be good.
So there's that, and the Fiend Touched are going on a...
Yeah, good thing the Pentaville 5's here to help out.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Fiend Touch are going first.
Such good
Sign.
people.
Oh, yeah, they
those
are.
guys.
Fine, we're
We
gonna be
love
more
it.
famous than them. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah.
Don't
There
even
are
sweat.
5 of us. We'll kill them and become the new Pentaville 5.
We'll get some doppelgangers. Kill them.
Oh, not doppelgangers
Damn it,
again.
Louise.
Nobody-
Doppelgangers are not the answer to anything.
I was gonna say, Gregor, you can have Titus's armor.
Titus is definitely in this fight. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna kill him.
So, yeah, that's
Kill him.
fine. You go for it. So you guys will see there is Fiend Touched. This shield room. I'm not going to wait around for you guys to crash into them. They are going to sort of push into you to try and meet you, and you, Gavin, and who do we have in front? We've got
Kazna.
Gavin.
I'm there.
In the front. I'm going to take 2 attacks apiece as they are just going to rush forward. These are from spears. They're not the most well-aimed shots.
Do they get their disadvantage against me for my awesomeness and my
They will actually, because these are Fiend Touched, not Tieflings, and these
Yay.
actually count.
One thing in my life is working out today. Way.
Let me roll 2d20 for these. They got +3.
There's only one godman, and its name is my axe up your ass.
A 2 will definitely miss, and then oh god, they do
2 and a
they do
1.
terrible.
They miss
Yeah.
Kazna.
Yeah.
Die, lads.
Finally,
And 2 critical hits on Gavin, because that's just how Gavin always is. Well, there's
no,
one. Actually,
no, so-
is that the 2 rolls, right? The 14 and the 19?
no, it's +3, so it's a 17, and which I presume misses.
17 misses,
Yeah,
but the
and
19 plus 3 hits.
Yeah, 22. So
Guys, my
you,
AC
it's
is 24.
It's just a spear. Yeah, I know. He's insane.
I love this battleground you've drawn for us. It's
It's
really
the best.
it's pulling me
So good.
in.
I'm so
It's-
immersed.
We're playing Minecraft. I'm confused.
just
what-
take 4.
Okay, that's fine.
4 piercing damage as you basically kind of get glanced as both forces crash into each other. But they sort of are going to lock you in place or hold you as best you can.
Okay.
Give me an athletics check, guys at the front. They're going to try and hold you. They outnumber you and have their shields locked, so they're going to get an advantage. But they're not very. Or Gavin.
What
will
is
just roll-
wrong with me today? I have a 10.
Yeah, you guys rolled terribly.
Yeah, I rolled 2 4s.
We're doing really well.
It's the light.
Oh, athletics.
Yeah, it's all the light, you know, it's in my eyes.
Yep.
Oh no.
On a 22, they stop you cold.
Oh,
Like
shite.
you're incoming.
Yep.
However, they stop you cold and immediately start to be just torn apart by the wonderful thing about spirit guardians and clerics is spirit guardians go, you've got a shield, it goes round it. You're behind a door, it goes round that. You have a wall in front of it goes round it. It goes through everything. It's vicious as hell. So everything within 15 feet that isn't someone that they sort of went, yeah, we're cool with them, is currently being torn apart. So in front of you, Kazna, you and Gavin sort of lock into the fray. You hit a solid wall, and immediately you hear snarls and blood-curdling screeches on the other side as these things start to stagger slightly under the onslaught of this. And on either side, you're going to watch as the paladins just swing swords up, and 3 guys on the right just enter orbit. There's a blinding light as divine smites come in, and they just carve through a portion of this wall, and they immediately try to close ranks. It's chaos. That's the Fiend Touched there. Zune, you're up. Your sort of forward momentum has been killed stone dead, but it looks like these fiend touched are really paying for it. It's chaos all around you. There are sort of like a hive, a swarm coming out of a trench. The trench is around about. The trench is going to be. Let's put the trench as blue. Let's do that.
So are we green?
You are the green, indeed.
And the red are the baddies?
Yeah.
And the black is
And the void.
the void, okay.
What's the green line at the very end? Is that our army?
That's where their wall is.
That's where
So
the
that's-
druid wall is.
Oh, okay,
okay,
okay.
back here.
Actually, yeah,
okay.
that's where Eros is, right? Eros, you've not advanced, correct?
I'm still Orius is still hanging out about, I would say, about 200 to 300 feet back, because I believe that's what it is, a rough give or take.
Yeah, it's about 100 feet across no man's land, and then it's maybe 50 feet.
So I'm
This is
about
not-
150 feet from
Yeah,
Gavin
from where
and-
the party is.
okay.
Yeah.
I am annoyed by this light. I close my eyes and begin casting. I cast fly and I jump off of Morty and I go as far as I can straight up into the air. Me and my mirror images.
Morty, you know what, Morty, you launch off him.
Morty is an amazing stallion of grace and equine beauty.
Morty comes forth and hits the enemy line.
Good Morty.
Being
Go,
covered
Mort.
in, like, just shrapnel and spikes. I mean, he's gonna pay for it.
It's Warhorse
but
all
it's-
over again.
He's armored, and he sort of hits this shield wall, and you watch as it starts to cave in places. They were not prepared for. He sort of breaks off to the right slightly and hits where the wall's been weakened.
He responds to Dark Elven words and not common.
He does.
by the way, so.
He does.
Just keep that in
He
mind,
just-
sister.
responds to violence with more violence. He was taught by Zune, and probably Kazna on the side, just on the slide. Take it to-
Yeah, I'm going as far as I can in my turn, flying straight up.
Cool. Okay. Are you doing anything else as a bonus action? Or
Nope,
anything?
no bonus actions I can take after that. I'm pretty much a one action a turn kind of gal.
I mean, depends on the action. It could be one hell of a turn.
Well, it's gonna be in about a turn or two. It's gonna be some fun times.
It is going to continue. It actually turns and it's going to start making its way in this direction. Not particularly fast, very casually. And you watch as the trench there just gets considerably wider as it looks down, and suddenly there's like a rush of air coming straight towards its mouth. It's almost as if it's taken a huge inhale, and you hear screams cut short from the trench as something is torn apart from within. It's not particularly pleasant.
This is fine.
Gavin, you're up, buddy.
Well,
Green
I'm held up by the wall right now, so I am going to. I've got the Maul of the Raven Queen out, and so I'm going to start swinging,
Okay,
swinging for the fences.
give me that swing.
How about on a 26?
A 26. Okay, so tell me how you kill 3 of these guys in the wall. Like literally, the guy in front of you and the guys to either side. Tell me what happens to them to completely ruin their fucking day.
So yeah, we slam into it, and Gavin, for some reason, his foot slips, isn't able to push through, and he's just he concentrates and he looks down, and being over 6'7", 6'8", he's pretty much can all but look over the top of these shields as they're trying to lean back, and he just brings up the maul and with this huge double-handed swing just goes, "Give my regards to my lady," and just swings through. And as it goes through, you can actually see the necrotic energy of the maul of the Raven Queen, and also sort of this glowing light of Saint Cuthbert as he uses a smite. Its natural smite on it just goes tearing through the shields and the people right behind it, and just because it's a maul, it's not pretty. It is just this bludgeoning smashing of their bones and shields and armor kind of all into one bloody mess, leaving a gap of where they once stood, and they just get flung off to the side.
They skitter back as far as almost to the trench. They get fucked up. Anything else on your turn? Like you have
then he has his backhand. That's the forward swing. He gets 2 attacks.
Give me another swing.
Fortunately, on the backhand, apparently he had a little bit too much goo and gore.
So on that, I'm gonna say roll me.
Oh, here it comes.
Roll me a 1d3, and I'm gonna pick what happens.
Okay. A 2.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So, as that happens, you are going to need to give me a dex save as a couple of figures pop up right in front of you, just in the trench line. And
natural 20 on the dex save.
Okay, right. So describe. Basically, you tear through their number, and you have the opening. You can see the trench line, and you just have the moment you look, and you see it. At first, there's like just an uneven sort of rocky formation that's right on the edge of the trench, and then you realize that it's actually 3 figures who are just they basically crawled, so they're hanging onto the edge. One of them looks up to you, and you just see the red in his eyes as he holds out his hand, and this just sheer black energy comes forward. It almost like a lightning bolt, but it makes no sound. It just crackles forth. And tell me how you managed to dodge this.
Am I dodging 100% of it?
Oh yeah.
So I see this black energy start to gather, and Gavin, having just done this huge swing across there, sees the black energy, reaches back out, and with his necrotic hand of the Raven Queen, just basically grabs the energy and just pulls it right out of his hands, and just kind of looks at you can't play that game with me, friend.
What's your attack roll? What do you roll for spellcasting?
Spellcasting is for cleric is wisdom.
So roll me just a wisdom.
Oh, so that's 20 retweets, Josh. So viewer decision time.
Indeed.
11.
Plus, so tell me. There's guys sort of around you. Tell me where you redirect this energy, because there's no way you can hold this, but you can straight out put this in someone if you want.
Oh, I want to put it
just
right back. I grab it, and then I just slam it right back down into those 3 guys on the edge.
You fire forth. It doesn't quite strike true. This is not your magic. This is something else, and this is very much something that your body it takes and then says, I need to get rid of this immediately because this is so abhorrent. And you hold out your hand, and a rooster tail just erupts, fanning them. They vanish from sight. Whether you hit them or not, you don't know, but you know you fell a little short. There's a chance you just punch straight through the crust and probably hit their midsection. You don't know. So the chaos unfolds.
So it's awful, though. I mean, this is not the clean death of the Raven Queen. This is something horrible and tainted.
That's fiendish magic that you just...
So Gavin's it's like he sort of shakes off his hand and sort of reignites up that pure necrotic fire to almost like try to burn it clean.
And as you do, your guys are going to do something. But just for a moment, guys, we have a couple of things going on. There's chaos going on all down the line. This stretches out for miles in each direction. But there is something that is so ginormous. There are two things, one of good, one of evil, that are fighting. We already have, just so you guys know, a 2-headed dragon that is currently on the battlefield fighting for the Alliance. There is this void creature that is in front of you guys. And there are a couple of other things which I actually took 2 viewer decisions. I took the top 2 because I like them.
Oh, no.
Damn it.
So I'm not going to say what, but there's a lot of stuff going on. So what is the big fight? Where are the Pentacle 5 hitting, and what are they fighting? What is like the enemy that they have come up against that you can see? Doesn't matter, there's no way the horizon could hide it. There's something, huge epic skirmish raging maybe a mile down the line, shaking the ground. What is that fight, and what do the party see?
Awesome.
And as that happens, Gregor, your men have sort of they've come forward. The guys who have been advancing, who've just been wrecking house, have got them this far. One of them has sort of like taken he's lost like most of the flesh on his shoulder has just been melted, but he's just kept running as best he can, and they've got to the line and are just stacking up to try and push through this gap. They've all drawn weapons. They're going mad. They're frothing at the mouth. What does Gregor do? Do you instruct the men? Do you try and punch through yourself? How's it going for you?
I think I'm gonna lay in there myself, lead by example. And I say, just fucking kill something! And I'll launch in myself.
Give me some attacks.
As a group. That I shall do. 5, 6, 7, 9. Okie dokie. So that will be a 12.
12.
Bad roll.
Not a good opening volley. I'm not gonna lie.
Fuck me, that was bad. Yep.
Wow.
Could spend my action surge, but yeah, fuck it. I'll just try and crush something. Pretty much Gregor is built to never die, but he's not such a huge damage outputter. So I will scream and try and aggro as many guys onto me by screaming insults about the fiends' mothers at them.
Cool. So there's this breach that has been made. You turn. You imagine that Zune, maybe she's turned invisible. You're not really sure, but her horse has just punched. Like one guy has just crumpled under its front hooves as Marty rears up and just his hooves come smashing down, and it just punches straight through this guy's wooden shield. It explodes out, and there's a small gap, and Gregor just manages to make his way out. What is Gregor armed with at this moment?
Gregor has a big fucking hammer in his hand right now, like, and just, fucking crush something with.
So they go to close the ranks, the gap. They sort of like using spears to drive back Marty. Marty takes a few glancing hits. You hear the horse is pissed, but also quite injured. And Gregor, you just see a gap you can get into, and you don't manage to kill anything, but you start swinging, and they cannot close this gap around, and already their line is starting to break as Gregor.
I'm like a walking tank, basically. They can hit me, they can fuck me, whatever. But he doesn't move at all. My armor actually stops me from being moved. It's fucking dwarven army.
That's nice.
So I just stand here and take a fucking hail of bullets, and I'm screaming at my completely unarmed, completely unarmored men. I'm like, what's the fucking problem? Stop dying there! As he's bleeding on the floor, getting the same treatment as I am.
They 3 of them attack you, and they need nat 20s to hit you. Technically, they can't hit you. Your AC, they have.
They can crit me, to be fair.
Yeah. So it's crits or go home.
Yeah.
And you start giving them what for. Your men are going to come forth, and let's give one solid roll just to see how many of them sort of start hammering in. Your men sort of actually form up around you, and though they don't have the sheer fortitude to stand against this tide like you do, they have the advantage that they move a little faster. A lot of them being they come from various different races, backgrounds, and you see them go in with some really nasty tricks. They sort of spread out, and as you sort of break through the line and hold all the attention, you watch as blades just come out of nowhere. One of them manages to grab a spear from one of the fallen guys, and he just rams it home through the back of the knee of one of the guys in the shield trim, and he just goes down screaming bloody fury, and they just start swarming them. Your men grabbing hold of them, climbing on top of them, stabbing them with anything they can lay their hands on. It's feral, but it's effective. And the right side of this Shiltram just starts to completely collapse. A few of them break. It's not pleasant at all. But your men do some damage, and this can all be seen from 150 feet back from Aureus, who will watch as sort of like your advancing party hit and then seem to stop and then seem to start listing to the right as whatever they've encountered seems to have sort of started to break on the right side. The void monster, whatever that thing is, has moved off to the right as well, and you've lost sight of it. But you see your pixies have just got to the edge. They rush up and they come through the gaps that no one can get through. They have such dexterity, they can fly, they just nip through everything. And the next thing you know is the guys who are firing into the volley, suddenly some of them just stop and start swatting at nothing. You watch as blasts go wide. Some of them even hit each other as they get confusioned as the pixies come in. One of them literally turns into a sheep, falls off the edge, and goes through like a blender as he's polymorphed. And then pixies are actually quite nasty if you run afoul of them.
They
They do some stuff.
Seeing all this in a booming voice, I've had enough of this, and then I yell because they should obey my commands, and I say, confuse the line if you are able, and I command my pixies to try to cast confusion on the front line, and I look up to the skies, and I bring down just a blizzard starts to form somehow in the air, and the air gets very chilly, and an ice storm starts to form in about a 20-foot radius and a 40-foot high cylinder on the left flank. Just starts to rain ice. I conquered an ice storm.
Ooh, fucking yeah! Give me that roll and let's see some damage. What are they?
Wait, did he just form a fucking blizzard over top of me?
No, it's on the
okay.
left flank.
No,
I was gonna be like,
literally though, like
okay, you
I think.
bastard.
I yelled at my pixies to kind of cast confusion all along the line, hopefully not hitting any allies, but
yeah, I think you're also Zune. You're about 90 feet in the air. This is only 40 foot high.
I would have been about I'll be about 60 feet if that's all right. Because my next spell is going to be a 60-foot range cast, and then I'm going to go higher. So.
Oh dear. Okay, so we'll start off with that. They do not pass. So, describe how the left flank starts to cave. It doesn't. They're sort of holding, but it's mostly the center, which is starting to get to the point where they don't have the numbers on you anymore, which is a very worrying prospect for that sheer damage. And even the center is currently just being destroyed by radiant damage, just by being locked in shield with clerics. So, Aureus, describe how the left flank gets some from a druid's wrath.
As the ice storm starts, it just starts impaling. It's bludgeoning, but it's like crushing their skulls, and it's crushing their arms and bones. And a couple of them are, it's difficult terrain. So as they start to move forward, their advance is kind of slowed, and there's some of them slip and fall, and they can't really move. So
you see that we'll see this from a fiend touch perspective, as one guy is broken off, finds himself isolated, pun intended, and he's sort of like the guy to his left just goes down prone under the blizzard. The guy to his right he's lost all sight of him, and the last thing he sees is it looks like the ice forms up in front of him, and for a split second he would absolutely swear to you that it looks like a stag's head formed of sheer ice with the most razor sharp huge buckhorns coming out, just materializes out of nowhere and rears up, and he is lifted off his feet. And to your left, Kazna and Gavin, you will watch as the weather just shifts on a dime, and suddenly you just hear screams as they can do okay in the heat, and it is bloody hot out here, but the temperature has just dropped dramatically on your left, and they are screaming. You can barely see where they are inside this mess, but it's like a blender has just come down.
I was gonna say, when they fall on all that horrible glass stuff, right?
Yeah.
Slipping on the ice here has a whole new meaning.
So the left flank until next turn is difficult terrain. There's a hailstorm there, so or not like an ice storm. So
yeah.
Yeesh.
Okay. Anything else on your turn, Aureus?
No, that's it. What is the army starting to move up and funnel into this?
The army's sort of just about breaking through the wall now.
I'm gonna take a rather calm walking pace as I continue to concentrate the summoning of my pixies. I'm gonna move about 35 feet my walking pace towards the.
I don't know where the clerics all are on this, but I would have at some point pointed out for someone to heal the horse.
Okay, one of them will heal the horse, and I don't need to make a roll for it because
you're getting brownie points with my character right now. For
I was
sure.
gonna say, hey, I said we established last time that Gavin's the one who's actually been taking care of Morty. So.
Yeah, I don't really like taking care of stable creatures. Is usually from we were in a royal family.
Absolutely.
We had someone else do that, right? So it's just
But
like not odd.
Gavin's a blacksmith. He's going to take care of the war horse. That's just going to be.
So let's see.
I just thought horses took care of themselves, you know. Like
Yours apparently is because Gavin probably
they
just
need
kind
to
of.
eat. What?
what?
No.
No,
That's
no.
not true. I've never fed a horse a day in my life, and they're all. Oh wait, no, they're all dead. That makes sense.
I will bring Morty back from the dead if I have to. Don't doubt on that. I will animate dead Morty every day.
I was thinking that's also probably one of the reasons why Gavin's making sure Morty stays
Yeah.
alive because he really does because he would kind of have to smite him.
Morty will never stop.
Orius would reincarnate the horse as a rabbit or something.
No, then I
sure,
have to
polymorph.
eat it. There's no wild game out here. Don't tell me we've been eating
This
anything
whole,
other than dried
Your whole
rations.
campaign is now about keeping Morty alive.
I like that we're having this
It's like
conversation.
oh wait, what was the name of the horse campaign?
We're gonna change this to long gallop. This is
Long
the
gallop.
Gallop, the long
be
canter.
Yeah, the
Well,
long
you know,
Long
Lucky
canter.
Bucky and the Quest for Peace. Or wasn't that it?
That was the best one.
That's
Yeah.
what I signed up for. I wasn't here for no marching. I don't walk.
Riding.
Walking is for peasants.
You guys, in front of you, one of the guys who's sort of like coming at Gavin, freezes entirely on the spot as they fail their save against confusion, which it's not particularly high for pixies, but they fail. And out of the three guys who were coming at you, the guy in the center just stops and just completely calm. And just sort of looks around as if he's just gone into a different world. Like he's just forgotten that he's in a war, everything. And he don't move, he don't make any hostile actions. He just freezes up. As Gavin, you catch, it's almost like there's firebugs all around you. And Kazna will see this too. And Zune, you'll see them sort of flaring out. They come from behind, swarming through you can see them sort of from above. You can see down into the lattice craziness that is their barricade, and see these tiny little, there's only about 8 of them, but they're tiny little golden dots that just zipping around, and everywhere they go they seem to be sowing chaos. And finally, it's the moment she's been waiting for. Kazna is face to face with the enemy, and there is blood being spilled.
Yes, this is a great day for me. If I can roll for once.
I'll
in my
have
life.
what she's having.
She's just going to go straight for it. The nearest fiend touch, wherever is there. She's going straight for it. Eyes red with the great sword. She's going to take one big old slash. And 27.
Yeah!
Yeah.
So
She
This
is
is
focused
more like
all
it.
of a
Do you,
sudden.
What I
Yeah.
mean.
Did you crit on a 19?
Oh gosh, I might. I think
are you a champion or are you
I'm an eldritch knight.
Oh no, she's an
Okay, no.
No.
So as this happens, you watch as three guys come rushing forth. One of them freezes entirely and stops. How do you kill the two that come to close this breach? And you can coup de grace the third if you want, because he ain't doing anything even on his turn.
Beautiful. She literally just takes takes a step forwards and unsheaths her blade, and then eyes flashing red, she'll just take one big cleave against them, in so much so that it's like diagonal, and she just watches as the top half of their body slips and collapses onto the ground as they are decapitated. And she'll turn to the third, and she'll look at him, look back to her blade,
It's completely calm.
look at the people on the floor, and just shake her head. And she's just gonna decapitate him. That's over. It's over for him.
You
R.I.P.
this is how Kazna comes. You know, the first guy just comes apart. His arm comes out and it sort of like gets in the way of the second guy running forward. He sort of flinches to try and avoid being attacked by the limb of his compatriot, and has just enough time to sort of bring his eyes back round to meet the drows as the end comes for him in a vicious way. The third one, his head rolls clean off, along with sort of a fair portion of his shoulders. It's not a clean cut; it's a vicious cut. Yeah, you have more attacks.
I do.
There are many more.
I want to look over to so wait, hang on. So Gregor is on the ground being attacked by a lot of people on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm drawing fire as tactics.
He's off to the right, so you've sort of like punched through their line now, and sort of between them and the trench. He's just behind you to the right, and he has maybe 8 guys who are all surrounding him, trying to get in, and they are being
Not anymore.
They are being swarmed.
It's like a fucking dwarven gangbang in here.
I'm gonna do a quick cantrip because of my war magic, of poison spray. So they have to survive that. That's a they have to make a Constitution saving throw or take 3d12 poison damage.
As if it wasn't like a fucking orgy already. Now I'm getting sprayed from above.
Also, will give me a.
Hey, alright, I've got a fucking advantage of it
Because you're a dwarf.
I'm a dwarf. I'm used to getting spaffed on by elves from
By
above.
drow elves, yeah.
It's a common occurrence.
Trust me, this isn't the first time, won't be the last. 20.
So, on a 20, you take 18 halved to 9 halved again. You take 4 damage in total from that.
Stings a wee bit.
The rest of them take 18 poison damage, and 4 of them just go down, like screaming. They sort of like trying to get their clothing off, trying to shed armor and anything else that's around them as this just sinks into their skin. It's almost sort of somewhere, it's this toxic sludge that it starts seeping through their clothing, and it's not pleasant in any way. The Being Touched are going to start to swarm forth, and as they do, you will watch as Aureus, the army has sort of like broken the line, and they are marching forward, and this wall is sort of no longer too important as they are going to sort of bring it with them, tearing a huge ragged swath as 100,000 men advance on these battlements and begin pounding it with everything they've got. You will watch as streaks of fire come forth and shatter parts of the battlement, easily starting to break it up as this ambush has not gone quite as they planned. There we go. Have we got that straw poll? Will?
Dunno.
Let me just check, because I haven't even checked it yet. Oh god.
So, yeah.
Oh god. Cool. Okay. So there is
It's not
that's cool.
good.
Okay, I got this. Yeah, that's good. So
Thanks, soon.
as you guys are sort of marching forward, the Fiend Touch, they're going to make a series of attacks, a plethora of attacks. So these are going to be all with a +3 added on, and we're going to have 3 on everyone, barring good old Gregor, who's going to take considerably more, as he is openly inviting challenge.
Let them come.
And probably can't actually take any damage. So a 19, a 9, and a 18 against Kazna. Sorry.
A 19, a 9, and an 18.
Yeah.
The 19 and the 18 hit.
Cool.
You still have your
Oh, my disadvantage thing.
They're a disadvantage.
No. Don't you also have your images?
Oh, I have my images. Oh, I have lots of things happening in my life.
Yeah.
Christ.
You gotta
Oh
roll.
yeah,
So-
between disadvantage, oof.
So no, they all roll the first lot. So
Well, do they hit me or my images of me?
Now, give me mirror image real quick. Just
I'm pretty sure it's a roll.
they make a roll themselves.
Yeah.
The D20, just a flat D20, and I think it's one.
Oh no, it's you roll a d20.
If you have 3 duplicates, you must roll a 6 or higher.
That's the one.
Yeah. So roll me a d20.
I will.
Oh, Josh, and for the straw poll, can you please say the top 2? Because we just hit 2,700 on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You know
Fuck
what?
yeah.
On a 20, I'm
you guys.
20. I'm going to say that they come forth and your mirror image sort of like faints out of the way, and this guy just you cut him in half as like he comes forth like desperately trying to, and your mirror image just sort of limbos out the way, and he realizes that he fucked up in that glorious moment of you clean.
And the
through
blade's just waiting for him, and he
Yeah.
just runs into it.
lifting him
Take
sort of like above your head and sort of like almost like
Slap
shoveling
him back down.
and then over the shoulder. And I will absolutely take the top 2. So there is fucking chaos is kicking off as this is happening. The other attacks, so we've got another 3d20 on Gavin. So a 22, what's your AC, Gavin?
19. So 22 and the 19
one.
would hit.
Cool.
Bad.
So
Why don't I teach you a thing or two about getting hit on sometime, Gavin? I'm just getting slammed by attack after attack.
Yeah.
You take 17 slashing damage as
Okay.
they come in, sort of like with blades whirring all around, getting the little occasional nick in. I imagine you're going to be healed almost instantaneously here, but it hurts.
Right.
Blood is spilt. That's the important thing. Let's see. Give a wisdom saving throw for the ones who are trying to behave themselves. Real quick. Wisdom save is 6. That's not too bad.
If I donate $10, can I give myself a magical item?
You can't.
I
give-
thought we said we
Yeah,
can't donate. You can't
technically.
donate for yourself.
You can't donate.
Damn.
You could
You can
give
donate for
me-
someone else in the
give
party, and they
yourself
might be
a
kind enough to
item.
donate back to you.
I don't remember the rule ever being that you can't donate to yourself. I mean,
Or you could give it to your sister,
Yeah.
who is here for you.
I want to donate a wizard-only attunement item, and I give it to my sister, and just be like, if you don't want it,
If you
I
can't
fucking
use
snap
that,
It's like
Over my knee.
Christmas, when you kind of buy that thing,
buy that thing.
My girlfriend
regifting.
never likes that
Regifting.
circular saw.
Yeah,
thanks, Yami.
but it
I will
comes.
snap that wizard staff over my knee. There's no Christmases for us.
Christmas in the Underdark.
Yeah, Christmas in the Underdark's pretty rough, man.
You know what they use for a Christmas tree, lad? They fucking crucify a guy and stuff eyeballs into him and then blow them up.
Oh, it's
That
so
sounds
beautiful.
amazing, actually.
Single tear. I've missed that day so much.
Just with the family, that whole day with the family.
Yes.
Just clean family fun.
Brushing the
Burning
eyeballs out of
fire.
your hair,
Reaching into the stockings and pulling out like new torture
Entrails.
devices.
Oh.
Yeah.
The good old days.
I miss trick or treating. No, not trick or treating.
Also, Kazni of a D10K from a Yami.
Cool. So while you roll that, so you guys hear, you're going to hear some shit go down in a second, but Gregor takes 6 attacks. One of them, tell me how you kill him. You score your first kill as he fumbles forward, loses his weapon, and runs into a pissed off Gregor.
I think I probably just I look at him and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking nonce? And I'm gonna grab his head and just slam it down into my knee and then crush his throat whilst I look at Gavin and giggle.
You curse.
Look at him! He's getting into the bloodlust as well now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and Kaz are high-fiving. Once this is
Your
happening.
guys, you will see that your men have started to head to the trenches, and they are throwing what look like Molotov cocktails essentially into the trenches.
Nice.
These guys do not fight conventionally. These are nasty bastards. It's why you're the one who's in charge of them. And
Also, Laurelania donates £10.
Does she?
Magic item to Arrow.
Okay.
Arrow.
Oh, cool.
Very good one.
Cool. Give me a 1d10 arrow. Let's see what you get. What you find on the battlefield.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's see. Is it a D10? I think
I
it
thought it's
is.
like a D62 or something, isn't it?
Oh yeah. No.
I'll find the appropriate number for you here in just a second. Donation list here. There we go. Save me, Moloch. It is a D166. 166.
Oh, it's the big list.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Come on, something cool,
Oh.
and possibly something he can't use. and
High
it'll give
numbers.
me-
You want high numbers, and it gets more and more powerful the higher the number you get.
She's hoping for something she can use. She can steal it off him.
29. Okay. Let's see. On a 29.
I got the list for you here if you want me to look it up.
Yeah. Cool.
It is a gem of brightness, which if you have a DMG to hand is page 171. It's a wondrous item.
Cool. Okay.
I'll put that in.
Oh, I was
We're gonna say it's great for drow.
you wanted me to roll 1D166, right?
Correct, you did it right, yeah.
Okay.
There's
Okay,
often
let's make
confusion
sure
about
I
it,
did
This
yeah.
prism has 50 charges. While you're holding it, you can use an action to speak one of 3 command words to cause the following effects. Shed bright light, basically. Fire a beam of light at one creature, making it blind for a minute. And a 30-foot cone originating from it each may... Here, I'll just bring you the book.
You're right. This should definitely go to Zoom.
Yeah, this is definitely an amazing dark elf item.
So yeah, we have that going down. We're going to so that is there. None of them managed to land a single
Gem
hit.
of brightness.
However, as you are making your way across, I am going to unfortunately attack the druid, as you were going to get pelted by a couple of firebolts for the guys who are still actually remaining standing on the edge. So a 23 and a 21, which I presume hits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2.
Oh, I think my speakers went out. Somebody say something.
Hello.
Oh.
Words.
Oh damn!
There we go. We're good. We're good.
So that's that's 31 fire damage to Aureus as you come forward, and you're not the only one who gets hit, but there's very little outgoing fire because they have bigger things to worry about. Aureus, as you get hit, you get clipped. You sort of like glance to your left and right just to see sort of if anyone else has been hammered as they rush forward. But the most impressive thing you're going to see is probably the fact that there's something moving across the horizon far to the north. It's the largest thing you've probably ever seen. It is... You're not really sure what it is, but it looks almost like a moving piece of earth, like a mountain maybe. As in the distance, this huge sort of four-legged creature that can be best described as it's a Tarask, is coming forth and charging the enemy line.
Fuck you, chap. Fuck you.
As that comes forth, it is met by a pair of Dracoliches coming in the opposite direction, comes screaming from the Fortress of Hex.
You say a Tarask, you mean the Tarask, the fucking
It is-
world-ending monster.
Yes.
It is the Tarask. The Tarask
Capital T, capital T.
doesn't appear to be against you, does appear to have a lot of people focusing a lot of attention on it. As, there is this sudden huge explosion as blossoms of fire erupt all down its side. And I mean, it is being hammered by. It looks like all the fighting on that flank has stopped, and everything is being thrown at it. And you watch as its head dips down. It vanishes for a second, and when its head comes up, you see debris fly in every direction for miles as it just hits the enemy line, and anyone who was in the way of that thing is probably dead. And that's the exact moment where it is hit by a Dracolich, which basically lands on it and just starts trying to tear it apart. And you get that brief glimpse. One Dracolich perched on its back, sort of talons trying to claw into the plates of its neck, breathing down necrotic energy straight into this thing's face as it lets out a roar. Everyone hears this. The earth shakes. Everyone who is currently holding concentration, give me a con save, because this is pretty fucking chaotic shit that is going down. Unfortunately, oh damn, that is not good. So the pixies are going to vanish, I believe, having lost concentration on them. Oh dear God!
Zoon, no, Zoon.
Oh, fucking hell! She's flying in the sky right now. She's coming.
Ooh, that's not good.
She's coming down like a
That's
fucking
not good at all.
dwarven prostitute.
Zoom starts falling, and unfortunately on an 8, Spirit Guardians goes down.
I'm gonna be fine. I've prepared for this in the Underdark many times.
Yeah, you rolled for the clerics?
Yeah, as does Beacon of Hope.
Yeah, no, it would. That's what I was about to ask, if I needed to roll it or whether you were going to roll it.
So,
Can I
Chaos...
reaction and try and catch my sister?
You should know you don't need to catch me. I got this.
She just plummets into the ground. She's got this.
She's fine.
It's okay. It's okay. You're falling into a fiberglass barricade. That's,
She's got this. She's got this.
I've got this.
yeah. So, as this
Don't
chaos
land on
reigns,
me.
You just don't land on any of us.
Soon it is your turn. Now,
So you cannot cast a spell and then a bonus action spell, correct?
That's
It's-
right.
yeah, you can cast an action and a bonus action in one round.
No, I mean I couldn't cast a fireball and then another spell as a bonus action, right? Even if that spell is a bonus action?
Yeah, no, you can.
Oh, okay. Well, as I'm falling, then I'm gonna cast fireball into wherever the nearest center of crap and people are.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast that. Let's go with level 4, sure. Come on,
Give me that roll.
give me something.
Oh, damn. That's
Mhm.
terrible.
That's
Terrible higher roll damage, but the actual fireball itself.
Did nice.
And what's your second spell?
As I am falling now because my concentration is broken, I try to maintain my absolutely charismatic wizardly appeal, and as I am about 30 foot from the ground, I cast Misty Step and teleport myself, probably not back onto Morty, but I would say in the back of the claw.
Roll me a perception check.
Woo! We're doing it. Unperceptive.
Cool. Okay, you pick him out. Now give me an Arcana as you are trying to focus, because this is the sort of you fucking boom.
I
straight
have
on
dead
the back of
focus,
you-
except for the concentration.
Yeah, exactly. So you are going to, as you sort of fall, you turn and you will see that the Tarrasque has just charged a line and has torn what is the northern edge of the enemy's barricade a new one. It's just fucking great, and there appears to be a storm building around it, this just chaos going on as bolts of energy firing out in every direction. It looks like around its feet things are charging forward as well. The Dracoliches are going wild. The one that is biting into this thing is sort of has managed to find purchase, and you can see that it's drawn blood, but at the same time the Tarrasque is just charging. And that's all you get a glimpse of as you just start to fall, and the next thing you know, you are on the back of Marty, who is rearing up, and you get the wonderful sensation of feeling something snap underneath Marty's hooves as he brings them down upon one poor bastard, maybe cut down by Kazna but not entirely finished off. And or maybe it's just Gregor literally just cripples their legs and then tosses them under the horse, for mashing. Doesn't have time to coup de grace them.
Yeah.
And I just start cackling as I'm on top of the horse and look to my sister. Good times. Dracoliches, Tarrasques.
banter.
Good. We're having a blast.
This
is
is
a
great.
good day.
This is a good day. Good
Why
day.
do I get the feeling this is just a fucking field trip for these two?
Speaking of blast, as you land majestically, there is a sudden blossoming of light. Unfortunately, you're sort of like it's off to one side as you watch your fireball hit home and true into the trench line, and figures just flung out in every direction.
And I cackle wildly again.
You crazy motherfucker. Now, let's just see, because you guys are drawing quite well. It is not coming your way. Wow.
Excellent. That makes me very
lucky
pleased.
Bastards. It is actually going, it gets into the trench and starts moving south, which would be to your right, as things are fleeing from it, as it's moving down the trench line, just tearing everything apart. That is that. Gavin, you have pretty much fucking destroyed this Shiltram is gone, but there are tons of these guys who are sort of still in the trench. To the right, it looks like there's very little you could do to make things worse from them than it already is, as whatever this thing is now in the trench and moving its way in that direction. However, there are quite a few more, and sort of behind this, that you can see that the plains slope up and set into a solitary, I'm not going to say a lonely mountain, but it is a solitary sort of mountain peak that rises out of the ground. You can make out a long winding path that's very narrow. You can see in the distance, probably about a couple of miles, around the base of this path is what looks like a camp. Similar to the camp that you recently departed from. It's quite clearly the camp of a military force, and it looks like there's still a lot of activity there. It appears that this is not everyone. They've held quite a lot back, and they seem to be guarding the path that leads up towards the actual fortress of Hex itself, which is this huge, half-melted, black, almost obsidian-like building. It looks like it's built from sort of raw iron that has just been blasted by the elements, has been lit ablaze. It's the most forlorn place, and you can see that the light is starting to rise and pick out the mountain perfectly, but you are still well within the shadow for now. It's when it starts to come in, it's really going to start to come in. So things are heating up quite considerably.
So the void is like on the map. He's moving from where he is to the left or to the right.
He's moving right.
Okay. Eros is now. Horus, is he? Where is he compared to us?
Horus is just about making. He's going to be around about. Let's give him. I'm gonna make him brown, as he's the druidy of druids.
Okay, cool.
That is the most turd-like color I think I've ever seen. I apologize. Let me find you a back.
Kiena is cashing in her £10 pledge on Kickstarter. Wants to give everyone. Oh wait, no. In a call, scratch that. Tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game. Oh fuck us.
Chopped liver right here.
Yeah. That's some fucking blue balls. Damn it.
So probably around about here, and he brings with him like the forces are matching pace of him. So your entire army is almost sort of at the line, and pretty much the battlements are being torn apart. This is probably the time when you realize that you might need to start advancing forward, or you might be crushed by the sheer weight of your own force.
No, that was my idea. I wanted to see where Eros was, and mainly because I know that Gwendolyn would probably be at least within earshot with a command. and basically yell out using thaumaturgy as I start to advance. Gwendolyn, Aureus, we need a bridge. And then I yell to the clerics, Guardians of Faith, to block off them following us, and start to advance towards the chasm. The idea being, we get there, they stone shape us a bridge, we put Guardians of Faith on the end so that they can't follow us, and we head up towards the camp.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you start moving forth, and sure enough, out of nowhere, seemingly out of the chaos, comes what looks like a dire wolf, sort of, but it's covered in its fur is matted and sort of horribly, like it's stained with blood. There are patches missing from it, and underneath, like, skin looks sort of almost a bruised, light blue, cyan, turquoisey, sort of mottled. It's really not pleasant in any way. The thing's jaw is sort of slightly malformed, and it comes forth and gets to you and slowly begins to melt in place, and from it comes Gwendolyn, as she sort of melds back into her wood elf form, snarling, still mouth full of blood, and sort of has dug her fists into the ground and is just tearing at the ground, trying to hold on to her control, as she's just torn through a lot of people, and the bloodlust is quite something to hold.
I actually place the hand of the Raven Queen on her shoulder, allowing sort of the Raven Queen's sort of cleansing energy to flow into her to help her regain her control. They help sort of tighten, I don't want to say tighten the leash that the Raven Queen has on the return, but give them the guidance that she might need to make it back.
And as she sort of like buried her fist into the sort of the cracked earth, she twists her arm, and as she does, it's almost like she's unlocking something, like pulling at, like twisting an unseen handle. And sure enough, there is a crackling, crunching, grinding sound as stone punches out, like just a sheer wall of stone laid horizontally bridges the trench. It's about 30 feet wide and it's about 30 feet across, so it's just a big square. It completely, like, there's one guy trying to crawl out the trench on the other side. He's cut in two by this, and it leaves a bloody smear, but there is now a path across, and sure enough, two huge sentinels appear, one standing on either side of this 30-foot gap, sort of like they are guardians, and
golden winged, the whole shebang, with big giant hammers of St. Cuthbert.
And they say nothing. They are about 30 foot tall. These are a lot of them putting their energy into this. You have your rear guard.
I call out to Aureus and go, we need your help too. We want double the width if you can. And I basically start ushering people across, but I wait till Aureus gets up so that we can reconfigure it to make it wider for us. Because we got to get all the berserkers across. That's if I don't need people falling in the pit.
Cool. So,
we need your help too, friend.
It starts to sort of become occupied as some move forward. You are missing a few. Whether or not they've fallen, you're not sure. But it got a bit chaotic back there. And your number is sort of staggered.
Yep.
So slightly.
Anyone who's not concentrating on things like rain sacred fire down into the pit, keep them suppressed as we cross.
So you guys have a bridge across, and far in the distance there is the fortress of Hex. Gregor, you have a path has been opened for you, but there's quite a lot of shit that needs clearing on the other side, as forces are already marching forth to reinforce their brothers. It looks like the real fight, the real army is coming.
Okay, and we need to get across this bridge, right?
Indeed.
I'm just imagining that fucking scene from Shrek 1 now for some reason. I'm gonna how many of my men are still around me right now?
You've only lost 6 so far. They've rolled pretty well, to be completely honest. But yes, six are one of them's still alive, but he's lost his arm at the elbow, and he's in the process of trying to bandage it up, losing.
I'm gonna throw that arm at someone.
You just throw it, hurl it down aggressively into the trench. You hear something fall upon it. It sounds savage.
Good. Okay, let's just fucking carve this fucking bridge open like it's a fucking piece of cheese. And I'm gonna fucking rush in there, kind of dive bomb in there along with my men.
As you come across, you step onto the bridge as like the first of their reinforcements sort of reaches the other side. The one-man army that is Gregor. Give me some attacks as you charge them, trying to punch a hole straight through this aid that has come to them.
Yeah. Okay. This will be a fuck me, really. 19.
There we go.
That's more
Your
like
first
it.
roll above a 5.
Yes.
Yeah. So on a 19, yeah. Tell me how it's not.
Do you want me to roll damage on it?
The cleanest. No, it's.
Okay.
I mean, this is just all out battle.
Gotcha.
Give me a couple of.
Yeah, I'll just kind of slam down with my hammer and just kind of pop some heads like they're melons. And I will. Is Kazna still? Oh wait, no. Zunu is flying. I want it. I think what I'll do is I'll grab one of the heads and like toss it back, and one of the others can like baseball smash it into someone else and send it flying across the bridge into someone.
On a 19, yeah, they absolutely do. And one of them is actually going to. So, this is quite fun. So, one of them, a couple of your guys are going to break the line. They're going to. They've sort of separated off from you guys and seem to be rejoining with the forces as they've spotted something on a 19 and they're going.
Can I see what it is?
Give me a perception check in all the chaos.
Okay. Nope.
You can just hear chaos and death, but you see them sort of like slip
Yeah.
off. There's only.
I'll shout at them. You come back here, you fucking fuck twats! And
You see one of them just turn and sort of like, be right back, and he vanishes back into the army that is coming along with Aureus, marching forward. And speaking of Aureus, you rejoin with your brothers as they again start to advance forward pretty damn quick. Maybe they just don't like you.
Right back.
You finally sort of join ranks with them, and they all bugger off again. What does Aureus do?
Muted.
Oh, yep.
Muted.
Everybody drink.
Yep, I'm good. I just had to find the right thing. Okay. Yeah. So Aureus, he's wounded. He's taken a couple of fireballs. Having requested me to create a wall of stone.
Yeah, help to bridge. We've got one bridge just to make it wide enough so that we can't have people catching us in the middle. If you're, I don't know where you are tapped wise for spells, or if we're really keeping track.
I am keeping track.
Yeah, I've been doing mine, but I don't know as far as everything else.
Would that require my action to do so to create this wall of stone?
I don't know what the spell is.
It requires an action to cast. So I'm just asking.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say we're going for extended turns here. This is more the cinematic. So.
Oh
yeah,
right, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. In that case, yeah. Well, my wounds are pretty bad, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Well, once you get into the area of all the clerics, they'll see you, and healing is happening by the clerics who are right there.
They are here. They are here very specifically to keep everyone else on their feet.
Yeah, and especially them hearing me call to you, they would have immediately considered it.
You come in, and what is akin to a fist of radiance just comes out and smites you back to.
Yeah, come back here, you'll get my fucking fist of radiance.
a more respectable healing. Let's. They don't have it up at the moment, so.
So we're the army's crossing the bridge. what does my character see right now, looking forward? Because obviously there's a lot of people around me.
Ahead of you, you see reinforcements. Maybe somewhere in a region of 1,000 men have sort of come to reinforce this line in this particular place. And they have just run into Gregor and half his men and Hope's Return, who are punching their way through. And you see behind you, like, the barricades are just shattering as your army comes forth. It looks like basically this trench is going to be almost like the central ground in a tug of war as the armies are fully going to clash here.
There's now a wall stone bridge over the trench in order for us to...
No, there's already one stone bridge, but it's 30 feet by 30
Okay.
feet.
Yeah, it's only 30, so
I made it larger, basically. That's what
Yeah.
get us out to 60.
You can get everyone across, like everyone from the party across.
Knowing this, I'm gonna Orius is gonna continue to move forward, and because his concentration was broken of these from these woodland beings, he's going to actually summon 2 dryad companions.
Okay.
Right next to him as he's running.
Woodland creatures. Bleh.
And these 2 dryads just appear from the Fey realm next to him, and he says, "Follow me into battle. I will need your magics to maintain my my prosperity."
There goes my fucking feather again.
Both of them you watch as they appear, and immediately, like, their skin their bark-like skin just seems to it seems to almost tense as they cast bark skin, readying themselves for battle. They're sort of all across their bodies, like thorns start to grow out as they make themselves living weapons, and they nod to you and speak silently, just through body language, that they are ready to follow you.
And I apologize to them. I'm sorry to drag you from your bound trees, but I require aid.
They give a modest bow.
And I
understand someone in need.
I tell both of them, as we approach the bridge, I need you to entangle any enemies that wish to approach the bridge.
Ooh, that'll be cool with the Guardians of Faith there, entangled. Just brutal, man.
Yeah. So they nod and they come forth, and as that happens, sort of like you watch as basically they stand either side of the bridge, and from the trenches you can still hear chaos raining down, and both of them just extend a hand calmly and imperiously as these vines just start tearing out of the ground as nature tries to reclaim this place. Just a small slice, but it's enough to down in the pits that are on either side, these killing grounds, you just hear screams as these thorns start to tear through flesh and drag them into the grave that they have dug for themselves. It's not a pretty sight, and that with radiant energy being poured down there already, it's pretty chaotic.
As a bonus action, I'm going to concentrate on my staff. I'm going to cast Shillelagh. Shillelagh?
Shillelagh? I believe.
I don't know. It's a druid of the
Shillelagh.
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 Shillelagh. It's like I can only say it if I can't see
Queen.
it.
Shillelagh.
You work it, girl. Shillelagh Queen.
So the void monster comes back, and you guys. Right. So that's that, and you feel the energy flow through your staff. Kazna, you are there, sort of at the front, I presume, once again, as so you guys are going to start hacking your way through. I want con saves from you guys, everyone here, as you start to tear into the enemy line.
Con is my best thing, but wait for me to just get like a 2 somehow or something. What is wrong? I have a +7 and I got a 12.
6.
I'm okay. I'm feeling okay.
16.
Oh, I'm not on form today.
It's because you've been out of battle for so long.
I know,
It was
right?
like a
Yes,
whole
indeed.
day or so.
It's been a whole 10 minutes since I've killed someone.
So you see, Gregor basically forms the point just by sheer tenacity of the fact that nothing seems to be able to hit him, and you guys start tearing your way through. And I mean, with like around you, you hear the sounds of crunching as the two armies finally come in and lock with each other. There is chaos. You see bits of scattered cavalry and beasts of the wilds, that the few that they could muster, and you see demons. Like, we're not talking fiend touch, we're talking full-fledged demons stalking forth. One of them you can see just to the south is this huge creature that it appears its rib cage is torn open, and you can just hear screams as it sort of tenses itself, and as it brings its arms in, something falls out of its chest and gets up and just starts hacking at, and it looks like it wears the armor of one of the Elven Empire. It looks like it is actually one of your guys who has got up, and he's come back as what Zoom would recognize as a white. And so there is really horrible things going on. Around you, there is dead. You are going to be stepping on people who are not long for this world, but still haven't had the sweet release of death yet. The clerics can no longer cast spiritual guardians because they will just kill everything indiscriminately. So it's really become quite gritty. So we're going to go down and give... so, Gregor, you are forming the point of this. What is your goal? Are you just hammering your way through as fast as you can, trying to like pierce as deep into their line as you can?
I'm slowly being worn away, much like my third marriage, and slowly trying to tear away at their numbers.
So yeah, you are making one hell of a swath. You single-handedly, you are the cavalry charge of one dwarf, and it's making one hell of a break in their lines. It's causing chaos, and having successfully rolled enough, you are not alone. Behind you, you are going to hear the loudest footsteps. Actually, no, not the loudest footsteps by far, especially not on this battlefield, but heavy footsteps come stomping forth, and the party will watch as you guys are now being backed up by something that has been stolen by your guys. Your convicts have hijacked one of the bipedal dwarven behemoths that are construction workers. They're about 35 foot tall, made of reinforced steel and plate and dwarven metal, and they have essentially what in modern days would be described as a plasma cutter on one hand and a multi-tool on the other hand, and they come forth and they basically are going to try and pick Gregor up, and if he's willing, give him a lift as they're going to punch deeper through.
No, that doesn't sound like something he'd enjoy at all.
Like a freaking dwarven king.
So this is like Ripley and Aliens getting in the thing, right?
Yeah. And they're all mounted on the back, and they're watching everything that's coming up in front of them through a crystal, which is the deepest red, and it throws everything into a really strange tinge. But they extend the right arm out, and you watch as what is literal lava launches forth from this cannon. It seems to be sort of like superheating the end of it. How it's being contained, you don't know, but it just arcs through the enemy's lines, it just into the heart of this army, and you watch as swaths of them just go up in flames. They have heat resistance. They do not have lava resistance. This is pretty vicious tactics. And does Gregor come along with this? Because this is straight up stolen property from the Black Mountains. They have gone and hijacked it. But they are making a hell of a lot of progress.
Hey, well, if anyone's gonna fuck with it better be me, because I'm from there. So it's not stealing, because it's basically mine.
One of your men, Slime, leans down, grabs you, he holds out a hand. At first you think he's like holding just a hand out to pull you up, but he pulls you up, and he's also holding a bottle of something that is probably moonshine. that he passes off to you, and he goes back to manning his station. There's basically a stack of so there's 2 who are higher up and 2 that are lower down, and they are sat sort of on chairs that extend out of the back of this thing, pulling and manipulating a ton of levers. There's one guy there who isn't a dwarf, and he's just confused as fuck, and they've given him control of the hammer arm, and all it is doing is basically windmilling its way through the crowd as best it can.
I'm gonna use the moonshine to like wash under my hands, and then use that to wipe away the blood that's kind of coming into my eyes right now. So just rubbing moonshine into my face.
Your face burns.
Dwarven body lotion.
Oh, I needed a bit of fucking lube. There we go. And then I'm gonna like kind of shower myself in it a bit and take my seat.
Okay, so you just take over the arm of this thing, because the elf that is running it is doing he's just getting all of the abuse as he's doing nothing but making the arm spin. And
Get off here, you fucking poof! And I'm gonna kick him off the chasm.
he just falls into and just under a sea of bodies.
He just Wilhelm screams off the side.
Next up, as you make your way forward, we have... God, you roll terribly, guys. But Kazna, you are next.
Here I am.
Kazna, you realise that you are not alone. You are rushing forward, and you recognise figures around you. You recognise some of your lunatics have actually survived. There was 2 nat 20s. I let a couple of them live. I was like, me. Okay,
We have 2?
You've got about maybe 10 to 12 of them.
I'm so proud.
And they
Dirty
are
dozen, man. The dirty dozen.
Maybe I'll learn their names now.
No.
They are carrying fiend
1,
captured
2.
Yeah.
John. Right, John, let's go.
Yeah. They are rushing forth, and they are just basically doing what the dwarven automaton is doing and windmilling their way forth with various weapons. One of them is just impaled instantly on a halberd and bites the dust, but the rest of them are
Not John.
No, it was John, not John. Not John.
Okay.
It was
That's
Johnny. It was Johnny. Anyway.
Screw that guy.
And you are managing to keep pace, but it's starting to get to the point where you're feeling like you might not be able to keep pace with this behemoth.
Thanks so much to Brad for the huge host as well. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you guys. Thank you, Brad. Josh, do you want to explain what's going on in the game right now? I've had 80 other people just fucking hop in. So.
Holy shit. Okay, right. So, thank you very much for joining, guys. We are currently literally in the middle of a war going on. This is actually the beginning of the campaign. This is the second episode, and this is the battle, the final battle against something known as the Fiend Touch, which are basically tieflings that have fully embraced their demonic heritage and just gone half demon. And they are marching out of the Orc wastes, and so the armies of the Great Alliance have come in to finally crush this, having spent 10 years fighting this menace and having lost quite a lot of people. And the party is the most unorthodox party of heroes you could possibly ask for. We have necromancers, we have someone who literally keeps convicts in line and marching forward by threatening to tear their souls away by fiends. We have a half-death, half-life cleric paladin combo wombo. We have a drow with a great sword who is just murder hoboing her way through as much as possible, and we have a druid who has no connection to this land whatsoever and is very out of touch and out of place and has just decided to just
Things are great. Things are well for everyone.
Everything's fucking brilliant right now.
We're having a great time.
There is a Tarask currently about 5 miles to the north that is charging the enemy's line. There are 2 Dracoliches battling it. There is a 2-headed silver dragon that has just come in and is about to start melting the enemy lines. And there is a void monster somewhere that is about to cause all sorts of chaos in the good guys' army. So that's what you've come into. But the army is currently a party are punching a hole through the army, trying to make it to the other side towards the Fortress of Hex, where the final slam down is hopefully going to take place. And you guys will see up ahead Gregor, which is Will's character, dwarven fighter.
Yeah, please to
slash-
fucking meet you.
Yeah! He's currently riding on a bipedal, 35-foot-tall dwarven automaton.
As you
with
do.
with a magma thrower on one hand and a multi-tool on the other hand.
That's what we dwarves get up to, you know.
It's good. So,
Those dwarves, man.
Well,
Yeah.
spare time. We do this all the fucking time.
It's true. It's
Sometimes
So-
we touch beards too.
Kazna, you are rushing forth, and you suddenly, you're dropping behind considerably behind this thing. This thing is just making its way forward, and it's not just the fact that it's moving at such a speed. It's lent forward. It's getting hammered to all hell, and it looks like it's staggering to the point where if it tries to slow down, it's the behemoth is going down.
Okay.
But you suddenly run out into a clearing, and you see the largest thing you have ever seen in your life standing before you. It is bipedal. It's easily 50 foot tall. It is most definitely not on your side. It is reefed in flame, literally, you can see lines of almost like rivers of lava running beneath its skin where its veins should be. In one hand, it holds a sword that is maybe 4-5 meters long in one hand, that is crackling with lightning. In the other hand, it extends its hand and snaps it out, and a whip of pure fire appears as you come across a Baylor.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
just gonna say
I knew it
Baylor.
had to
I
be
knew
a
it as
Baylor.
soon as he cracked out the whip. Fuck, those things are awesome.
Yay! And I'm just here on my own.
You've
in the
just
clearing.
stepped out. There are no all the fiend touch. There's no living fiend touch within 50 feet of this thing, which puts you at about 50 feet from this thing. As they basically anyone who gets too close has just been cut down, but it is stalking forward
Oh,
and coming
great.
at you. It is much. The behemoth's already blitzed past this.
Kazna, love, can I give you some advice? Maybe fuck off somewhere.
And you don't have the advantage of having something to having a ride, as it were.
No, thanks for that, Gregor.
I'm
You
gonna
can
put
hop
Zoom.
on fucking board. This thing's big.
Mate, you can't slow this thing down. You are.
I'm not
You're
slowing down, but you can fucking catch up.
And as that happens, ahead of you, you find the this creature. Zune, I'm gonna say, is going to be. You know what, Laura? If you love these things so much,
Yeah, these
you
things
could be
are
right next
awesome.
to it. You two are now
You
standing.
get the special
next. You have-
prize.
Yeah,
You have
just the
11
power.
You have
Save
11
Morty.
Oh man, no. I'm gonna stop him from summoning more
knuckles.
friends.
I'd also like to point out, because of the wild magic surge that I got, I currently believe that I am on fire, which works with this.
I'm on fire right now.
horrifying
Yeah,
creature.
that worked
Slay,
perfectly.
girl, you're on fire.
I'm on fire, girl.
yeah.
Yeah, we've done that way too many times.
Yes.
today.
Silence healthy.
Running theme. Air 2 was a Balor, was he not? Yes.
Indeed. So, how do you react to this as the two sisters appear and see this ahead of them?
We would have had clerical circles in the Underdark that would have summoned creatures like this for a bit. Obviously,
This
pretty
is-
still rare.
This is definitely a clerical
but,
error.
Yeah, this is
yeah.
not a good thing.
Oh, and I have a nat 20. Thanks for reminding me.
Use it to save me.
I just don't want it summoning more creatures because these things can summon Vrox, Hazeruses, Glasbios, Nalfashes, Veloriths, and other fun
All fine things.
All
All
fine things.
great fine things. So
I imagine the sisters can like share a look.
do you know
at each other, they're just
Banish?
like, mm-mm.
I'm gonna go with blindness, deafness because that's all I've got right now. Yeah, that's we're gonna.
Hey, that
try-
works though.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your save, and what save is it for blindness?
I'm gonna cast this at 4th level, yeah, because that's a fucking. Target an additional creature? I'll pick the next no. Can I change my mind and go back
No,
to 3rd
that's
level
fine.
spell on that?
Yep.
Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, they probably got good constitution.
Yeah, his con's a 22.
Does a 24 with resistance to magic?
I mean,
That's gonna do it.
Cool.
That's gonna do it.
This thing-
maybe.
So you see as this thing sort of like is standing there, and you watch as one fiend touched just to your left, sort of at the edge of this huge clearing around it, gets ejected from the crowd, sort of pushed back by something, looks around confused, sees that it is no longer surrounded by anyone, is confused, and then fire wraps itself around this thing as this Baylor swings, and it whips its whip around this thing's torso and brings it over its head and slams it into the floor, maybe 80 foot away, just over the head, and it's just, there's nothing left. There's no body. And then you reach out your hand, and it reels its head back and turns its gaze towards you.
I stare at it defiantly.
Like, fuck you, thing.
Fuck you! How dare you resist one of my spells? I think I'm better than everybody. We're gonna do this again.
Now-
I'll see you on the other side,
Keep
good sir.
in mind, like anyone
Friendship
running
this.
forward or backward, there's an entanglement on the other side of the bridge.
You
I'm
got-
ca-
you
I'm
guys-
casting from
you
a
guys
distance. I'm
made-
not
you
stupid.
guys- some considerable leeway, yeah. So
Send me in.
you guys have let's see next. Gavin. So Gavin, you find yourself sort of.
I haven't
rushed-
actually gone. I haven't done anything.
Don't worry. I'll get to you in a second. Things are happening.
Slower than my last annulment.
So Gavin, you find yourself sort of like coming out into what looks like a kind of similar scene, except there isn't a huge creature in the center. There is a figure that is being held by chains by about 8 different fiend touch in the center. It is covered from head to toe in robes of sort of black that are draped over it, and it is thrashing in every direction. And give me a perception check.
Come on. 13.
So on a 13, you just about catch the glimpse that you are A, not sure where the rest of your party is, but B, you've got a couple of people with you. You've got Vincent is by your side still. You have Thelma and you have Nora standing with you also. And just out the corner eye, you think you spy the twins standing right on the edge of this clearing, staring at whatever this is. And then suddenly the twins are either side of you, and they look sort of, one standing to one side, one standing to the other side, and they say, "You've no idea how much we missed her."
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. How much we missed her?
Well, that's ironic that you missed that. It's not about missing.
Someone's
How
missed.
much we missed
The
her.
Raven Queen. Are they alluding to the Raven Queen coming to the
Oh.
battle?
No. I mean, it could be worse.
It could
Well,
be
what's worse than one of the
What is
queens of the
worse?
What is worse than one of the queens of
Let me
undead?
tell you.
No.
Wow.
No.
The vampire
no.
queen?
I look to Vincent and go,
Satan.
Satan. Great.
Do you know who this is? Is
He-
this...
Shakes his head. He looks genuinely perplexed, but he takes a step back, almost to steady himself, to sort of like settle into almost like a fighting position. But he looks around a little confused, and he grabs one of the twins, and I mean, even you struggle to tell which one it is in all the chaos. But he remembers, he sort of always has a knack for telling them apart, and he snarls, "Marcus, who is that?" And he says, "We missed her, sister." And suddenly one of the fiend touched drops his chain as it is wrenched from his hand, and this thing tears its clothing, these robes off, and you see a figure standing there. She's incredibly pale, she's incredibly wild looking, and just in your ear, Lucas whispers,
By the way, man. Like I said, I don't.
"We wanted to be free again, and now we are free again. The three of us, all free." And they both step out. He's getting close enough. He has a lot of blood around his mouth. Lucas does.
Lucas does? It's Gwendolyn who was just revealed?
No, this
Okay,
is
sorry.
apparently...
There.
They are not twins. They are triplets.
Ooh, you bastard.
Indeed. Which is looking pretty chaotic, and both of them start sprinting straight at her.
Can I try to catch at least one of them with the Raven Queen's hand to try?
Roll me a dex save, just to be quick enough.
Yeah,
They
that's
move very quick.
20.
That's a stealth check.
Oh, sorry.
That's a good stealth check.
It's a good stealth
Well,
check,
it's
but
still
not what we
Dex.
need.
That's
It's
pretty
still
fun.
Dex, but okay.
Pretty good.
15.
Cool. He is going to. So you grab him. What do you do as you grab him?
I try. I'm hoping that this is just bloodlust. I'm trying to cleanse him and clear his mind as I did with Gwendolyn earlier.
Roll me a religion check, just to see if you can.
Religion or like my wisdom. That's what we did before. I
No,
thought.
give me a religion. This is
Okay.
slightly more. This is
Okay.
Oh
Nope.
god.
Oh dear.
You grab hold of him. He turns, and he says, "We're no longer alone. We no longer have to bow to the throne." And he melts into mist as he he turns into
Yeah.
mist form and moves away. But you can just see his lingering smile and droplets of blood falling from the mist. And we're going to cut there to Aureus. Aureus, you are sort of coming forth and find yourself up against something you've seen at a distance. But you unfortunately draw the short straw of seeing this thing that is so abhorrent to you. It is the absence of all life. It is this inky black-like form, which is standing in front of you on the battlefield. You are surrounded by allies, but where the party you originally set out with are, you can't tell. So what does Aureus do? This void-like creature is probably about 100 feet in front of you, and you can't tell if it's got its back to you or it's facing you, as you can't make out any features, any bends in its joints. It's very shaped.
I see this and I'm alarmed. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Give me an Arcana check. You'll pick this up absolutely, but it's
Sure.
fucking. This is something.
Yay, nat 20.
Nice.
That through a hose mic.
you reach forth and you reach out to detect what this is, and you get a sense that this is something. This is an anchor. Whatever this is a literal hole in the fabric of reality, and it is feeding something somewhere else. All of the matter, all of the life it takes, is currently being channeled elsewhere. It is a mouth. It is something that has found its way to this, and you have no idea what it is or where it came from, but it is a very small part of something much larger.
Well, I'm very. I look at this and I stop. There's a lot going on around me, and obviously the two dryads that are at my flanks. I stop and I motion for the dryads to stop as we're approaching. Where is this? Is this on the other side of the bridge, or is this on?
Oh no, you guys are sort of past the bridge now.
We've already crossed it. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's this. I stop and I do nothing. I'm too. I don't know what this is. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to motion to the dryads to stop, to hold. And hopefully I don't get trampled. I'm just going to stop by say nothing. And that's it.
So, Gregor, you march forward, and finally something gets the best of this behemoth, and you come grinding on face first, essentially. This thing tips over, and you hear a shearing, snapping sound as something comes off, and you roll you're gonna just about manage to roll out in time, as you end up almost crushed under this thing. Two of your guys vanish, and it is now lying on its back. One of its legs is mangled beyond all belief, and its left arm is missing. The moldy tool is gone. But you have punched your way out of the other side, and you are sort of in the camp. And the last guy who's still managing to hold on to the back of this thing angles this magma gun as best he can and just hoses into the tents and structures and everything he can see. But you are basically, consider yourself shot down and being quickly surrounded.
They came from behind. As I go down, I say, "You better hit that thing, you fucking dick shit." And I'm probably gonna take him off the gun and start doing it myself in case, just for some stress relief.
Absolutely. Give me just a dex check, just to angle this. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm gonna say you can give me an athletics if you want, just to wrestle the controls into the right place.
That's a 20.
On a 20, yeah, you start holding basically the line, and Stein is next to you. And has a crossbow in one hand, which he shoots and then just discards, and draws a pair of hand axes. And he looks over his shoulder to you and watches as sort of the forces surround you and begin to envelop you. And he sort of chuckles and says, "So, about all the punishments for me stealing this shit," as the first guy comes in and he's just hacked apart with ease.
Hey, consider yourself okay. He's like sliced apart.
No.
Oh, I thought you mean he was
the guy coming towards him. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Consider yourself clean of all sins, lad.
So, does this mean I might actually see my ancestors? And again, buries one of his axes into another guy who runs forth.
Your ancestors are a bunch of twats. Now fucking kill people.
He nods, picks up what is just literally a sheer piece of metal that has come off this thing, and uses it as a makeshift shield. And you hose down a line of incoming enemies, but you feel something. You are basically half buried under this thing, watching a very cracked, what is essentially a monitor made of crystal, as you melt a line of incoming fiends, and full-on fiends running on all four legs, these wolf-like hounds. But you hear the sound of scratching and clanging as something has climbed onto the other side of this thing, and you now sort of have the swarm coming over the top towards you.
But I don't know, elves when you need them.
He looks to you. And
I'm facing a Balor, you asshole.
We have our own problems.
Oh, you fucking made their own problems. Didn't get on a fucking machine, did you?
He turns round and you see this huge snarling, what looks like a mongrel mouth come down, and this snout pushes its way around as there is something attached to the top of this thing, and it looks at you with hungry eyes, blood dripping from its jaws, and then lets out a startled shriek as it falls headfirst, lands on the floor with a hatchet buried in the back of his head, and Slime just sort of gives you a quick salute.
That was my one, you fucking pussy.
He's completely unarmed, and you watch as he just goes down under a fucking huge number of advancing enemies who begin to rush you.
Okay, I give him. You know what? As he goes down, I'll appreciate that. I'll give him a salute, a soldier's salute, as he goes down, a very kind of quick one, and look around me. What exits are there from this, if there are any?
You're basically in it's almost like a very small cave. One side of this beast, this huge creature.
Okay. Next question: how explosive is the machine?
You would imagine there's a ruddy, great big
boy.
crystal thing in front of you, but somewhere in this thing is something that can contain magma.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Would probably
Okay.
be very explosive.
So I'm gonna call on my demon and say, I tell you frickin' what, gotta do the weird thing again, I fucking hate this. And I'm gonna get out my my bone dagger, what I have, which is my kind of magic thing. And I'm gonna point it at the kind of magma, like fucking Voldemort, and cast an Eldritch Blast, and I have a thing which makes my Eldritch Blast even fucking worse.
Do you have a nat 20?
I don't, unfortunately. So
Okay.
I'll have to roll.
Give me a roll. Give me a roll.
Alright, it's 20 plus 5. Oh!
It's no, sorry, I mean damage. Like, there's no way you can miss. It's
Oh,
in
okay. Let's remind myself of Eldritch Blast damage, because I don't have it up. And it's not an SRD. It is Eldritch Blast 5th 1d10 force. Cool. 1d10 plus 3, so 8. 8 is what I
So
do.
you punch a small dent in this containment unit, and that is where we see Gregor at last. He's just hammering into this containment unit as the forces sort of swarm round, and that's the last we see of Gregor for now. We're going to cut now to
Again,
Baylor.
fuckity bye! I scream as I I scream fuckity bye as I send out my Eldritch Blast, and that's the cut.
Indeed. And we have now Kazna and Zune
Family
looking at a
goals.
Baylor.
So, quick question: this dragon that was meant to be helping us,
It is.
where is he?
He's way
It's
off to the
fun.
side. He's chewing people off on the other side
He's
of the
currently
trenches.
Fighting.
I mean, could use him over here. God, can't trust dragons these days. Can't trust anybody.
I don't have thaumaturgy or IDL for it, but
It's not going to hit you over this.
Dragon.
dragon, dragon.
What's your plan?
Good question. This is a problem.
I need you to distract it, sister. Go on, get in there. It's no big deal.
No problem. Sure, I'll run.
God.
Cool. So, Kazna, you
Lovable
run
and dumb.
this
Also,
thing-
just wants to kill. There's a thing. Time to kill. Good job, me. Let's go.
Gotta stop casting spells that have Constitution.
That can't be
saving throws
good.
on this thing.
Hit and hit.
Yeah. So,
Well,
that's
hang on, wait. So
30.
Why is all of my spells
can I take
Constitution?
a reaction from these multiple attacks that are happening at me right now, and cast shield, which
You
gives me
still have
plus
some
stuff, and
images.
I have some images, and he's a fiend, right? He's like an evil thing.
Mhm.
Like
But,
Oh, yeah.
he does have disadvantage.
yeah, but
He
those were
does.
pretty nasty. What was your armor?
17. But if I cast shield as a reaction, that
With
stops some of
disadvantage,
them.
it does. It actually, with shield, it will stop all of them.
Fuck
Um,
you, Baylor.
As you currently have, you currently got that. So this hammers into you, and you manage to stay there, stand your ground. Give me some attacks real quick.
I will.
It's weird.
I will. Any attack? Just
Yeah, just roll me one attack. I
give
want
you
to
a
see.
great sword of a.
So on a 25, you hack into this thing, and it starts to actually, like, you get right up close to it. It's basically torching your clothes. Like, anything that isn't armor begins to catch fire, as just being this close to it is fucking terrible. and it's going to reach out, and in which case it's going to make a swing for Zoom.
I'm just gonna yell back as I'm running. Just do something.
I'm gonna black tentacle the thing, I think. Either that or launch a fireball into its face. I don't know. Well, that's great. That
does a 33 hit you?
I have mirror images, so.
Oh.
Okay.
Roll a d20 to determine whether it attacks one of my duplicates. So would you like to roll the d20 or shall I?
It is going to cleave through one, and I'm going to say this is a bylaw. I'm going to say this thing hacks through your duplicates.
Yeah, it has true sight.
That's right.
In which case, yes. So
no.
okay, so
sorry, sis.
It's okay. I might be
Casna,
dead here.
You turn and you see your sister collapse on the floor about 30 feet away. She's missing her leg, her lower pelvis, and half her rib cage, as the top half of her has just hit the floor.
Can I roll a Constitution not to scream?
Give me a con save, and
I think I can do it.
See if you can laugh instead.
Yeah, exactly. Like typical drow. Like this is nothing, just a scratch.
Just a flesh wound.
you scream. It only lasts for a second though, because one of your lungs is completely gone.
Oh god. Okay.
And
Do I get to do things? Can I do things?
as that happens, you are rushed by maybe 50
Is Morty okay?
individuals. You don't see Morty, but
Morty?
you
This
do
is
see
not going
Morty
well.
getting trampled, and Kazna, you are swarmed, and that is where we're gonna leave Kazna.
Morty!
No!
Gavin, Gavin, give me a dex save as you and Vincent share a look of what the fuck is this? So
I'm shocked to the core.
Something hits the floor right next to you and
Whoa.
Vincent.
Oh, damn it. I could have used my natural 20 on that.
It's
Oops.
a tiny burning sphere of light. It looks like a fireball, but it doesn't explode. It just impacts the floor next to you and then begins to glow. And you throw yourself out to one side, but you're now lying about 10 feet from it, and it just starts to build and build. He looks to you, he's also sort of like laying there, and just as you feel like, oh fuck, someone comes out of nowhere, and they have a dwarven helm in one hand and a warhammer in the other hand. And Shin slams the dwarven helm down over the top of this fireball. It begins to melt the helm instantly, and he brings the hammer over both hands, swings it down, and it buries it into the ground. But you can see the ground start to melt, and he looks to you and smiles and says, "Maybe now I will find peace." And then you are blinded. And Gavin, you feel weightlessness as you are thrown through the air, and that is the last thing you...
I do not want to be saved by the 5. It'll be so embarrassing.
Oh god.
No.
Orius.
No.
No.
I would rather fucking eat my
I'd rather-
toenails.
I would rather
myself.
die.
Aureus, would you do me a favor? I'm gonna need you to make a save for me.
And I don't know if you've seen my toenails, but
Sure.
you don't wanna.
As this thing is going to ask you to make a con save as it unhinges its jaw.
You made something, the end of all things is the name of what it does.
No, it is literally a tear in the fabric of reality. This is a portable black hole from what Aureus understands. Aureus, you feel your skin start to almost slough off. The dryads next to you root themselves in the ground as best they can, but they start to break apart, and one of them grabs you, and with one hand, it turns its hand into like a spike, and it stabs you through the shoulder, and then punches down as hard as it can, completely taking you off guard, as it creates an anchor and roots you to the ground. As the world around you begins to fall apart, as a literal almost black hole starts to expand about 100 foot from you, and everyone around you stops screaming as complete silence, even sound cannot escape this. And that's where we're going to leave this session.
Fine. I'm only half of me.
We'll be fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
I have, as I said in chat, I have a very vague idea of a terrible plan, which we will see next week.
Where are the dragons?
Where's the
Take care of the
fucking
Tarrasque.
dragon?
Where are the eagles, man?
God?
Take us to
Where's
fucking
anything?
Mordor.
This is a terrible place.
Who
to
am I?
be. Where are we?
Indeed. So we finally last glimpse, we have Gregor basically breaching a magma containment unit on a dwarven centurion device.
Well, he's trapped in a cave.
Well, I'm trapped in a fucking
he's
cave.
trapped underneath it. He's trapped basically that is the roof of this cave. He's in a makeshift cave, which is half a fell.
I'm going down.
And he's planning on taking a lot of stuff with him in a huge fireball. There's basically a small volcano. We have Kazna and Zune. Kazna being swarmed by absolutely everything. And having just seen Zune tossed aside in 2 pieces.
It's fine. This is fine. We do this every day.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Maybe
well,
not the being cut in half bit.
Maybe not that bit. That's new.
I had a lot of fun tonight. I know Arrow's got to dive off, and I've got to run pretty soon as well. So we can quickly whip round and shout out your projects and shit if you had fun. Let's start with Luis on the right.
Yeah, cool. Quick times. Yes, fun. Loved it. Combat, great. All the enjoyment. Great job, Josh. Woo, good job, everybody. Everything's fun. You can find me on the Twitter at No More No Less. You can also find me on Twitch at Accidental Legend. You can find me later tonight in an hour, even on Not So Speedruns, playing 6 and 20. Great times. Everything's fun. Somebody else get.
All right, Arrow.
Yeah, hey, I do need to take off, but yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv, AirHoTV, or on Twitter at AirHoTV, same thing. I've been having a lot of fun with the campaign. My character's maybe gonna die.
It's
we'll
just
see.
black hole.
we're all gonna die.
Black holes are renowned for being survivable.
Yeah, I'm only gonna go into the void.
Stephen Hawking. Fantastic. Laurelania.
Twitter posted it in chat. Twitch is Laurelania. Drow Christmas, awesome. Slay, Raven Queen, slay. Balor, great. Good role playing all around. Fairies dancing, blizzards falling out of the sky, and love you, bye.
Fantastic. And Tall Skull.
Good times.
All right, Tall Squall, you can reach me on in the chat. Put down my Twitch channel. Saturdays at noon, we do the Vice that I DM. It's lots of fun. Come join us. Great campaign. Love cinematic battles. Big sweeping epic things. Tarrasques, dragons, and oh my god, they're triplets. Oh my.
Oh my. Fantastic. As myself, follow the show, etc. Go fucking fund the Kickstarter that's going on at the moment. Enjoy yourselves. All of the pledges on there. You call donation rewards on here. And you get a ton of other shit as well. You get a book for 12 quid. That's like small amount of dollars as well. Shit ton of sexy fucking artwork on there. Check it out, my friends. Be back online tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Call of Cthulhu at 1 p.m. followed by Tales from the Yawning Portal at 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys. In the immortal words of Gregor, fuckity bye, everybody.